Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, Pill Poppers, for this episode of Anxiety Pilled. We're on episode what now? Like 10, 11?
Hang on, let me check that real quick. We're in the double digits, that's for sure, which is amazing. Oh shit! Today is number 10. We're in the double digits now.
If you're checking Spotify, we did make a mess up where two of the episodes are the same number.
Yeah, two episodes are the same number. But honestly, thing is, whatever. You don't look at Spotify. You listen to Spotify. And
No, I watched that little bar go every single time.
okay, fair. Also, what are we thinking about the new design? If you could see me, I'd be showing off my wings right now. I'm very proud of it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I
It brings some character.
thank you. Shout out to our furry audience. We love you. But I simply did not feel like being a furry anymore. It's summer, it's hot out. And also, my wings were getting in the way of everything. So I had to make some changes, and I feel much more satisfied in my soul. So today is a very special episode where we are going to be starting with our series of host stories. So we come on here, we talk about stories, we talk about what makes it good, what we would like to see, but where the fuck do we come off doing all this? The thing is, we are still kind of nobodies, but we do write ourselves. We and someone in our audience, shout out Lime, I believe it was LimeTime Live, the author of "There's Something Wrong with the Girl I'm on a Date with." He said, "Hey, I feel like you're kind of robbing us of being able to see your stories because we initially had a rule where we don't cover our own stories." But between LimeTime Live's comment and the fact that we did promise you guys Meat Rain, here we are. And before we get into it, we have a message for everyone from our most beloved trophy wife. Everyone say a happy belated birthday to Top, by the way. Their birthday was on the 13th. So they say, "Hey gang, it's your boy, Top Contribution. Massive thank you to Bats and Salad for reading all these big girls, and a big shout out to the whole of the AP podcast and moderation team. To be a part of this channel is really special to me, so an extra little hand kiss to Bats for bringing me on. Thank you. For the audience, I'm incredibly grateful to have a place to share my work, and the engagement you guys give to every author with every post is really fantastic. We can't do this without you. I really, really love being a part of this community, so I hope you enjoy. Mwah." Okay, so we are starting with a true witch. So now you might be seeing some different flares. This is definitely an older story. But because we are doing the host stories, this is the only exception of one that we will cover that is not on Anxiety Pilled. It's from r/creepcast. Shout out to them. I mean, you can obviously tell the inspo. If you listen to both of us, you can tell the inspiration. But anyways,
First off, before we begin, how do you feel about witch stories?
as a practicing witch, fucking love them. Um, I I love witchcraft. I love when we have a witch coming in, they're like, "Ha ha ha, we're fucking up. We're fucking things up." I love them.
As far as witch stories go, always end up loving them, but at the same time, I feel like not against Top, but I feel like they're getting overplayed. Everybody wants to do a witch story, and I'm not complaining because I love witch stories, but I'd like to see some variety.
Yeah, and just reading the first paragraph, I think we might be having a different angle of witches.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah,
I like.
I love witches because it's like such an easy. Oh, how did this happen? It was a witch. We don't need to question any
Yeah,
further. It was a witch.
yeah, I love. I love when you get creative with witches.
Yeah, I love them. And to anyone who knows me IRL, um, now I can't post pictures. I mean, I think I can. I think I can put a picture. I'm just gonna have to block out everybody's face, which is gonna look cursed as hell. But still, um, my mom, my
Just
sister.
replace their faces with Teletubbies.
Oh my god, yeah, so true. Um, but yes, every year, like last year was the last year. I'm finally freed from being one of the Sanderson sisters. But we are always we are always
Oh,
um always being the Sanderson sisters. I'm Mary Sanderson, my mom's always Winnie Sanderson, and my sister Sarah Sanderson.
I love that movie, Hocus Pocus. I
Yeah.
love the original. I'm not a big fan of the new one.
While the original is great, I love it. I love both of them. I came into the second movie going, all right, I'm ready to laugh at these dumb broads, and boy did I laugh. I loved it. All right, so are you ready to get into it?
Yes, yes,
So,
we are.
so I'm gonna have you do dialogue, and
Okay.
I shall do narration. Except for there's this the witch in here. When the witch starts speaking, that I want to be that witch. Other than
Okay.
that, you're all dialogues you.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So now, by top contribution, 1248, our favorite trophy wife, a true witch. A witch is good when others are not. A witch does her chores and her schoolwork with a grin. A witch is loyal to her coven. A witch will always be welcoming. A witch is comfortable in loneliness. A witch must choose her power. A witch must feast on what must die. A witch will never be cruel unless it is demanded of her. A witch is always brave. And a witch will always welcome another witch. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So, we have this first break in the story, which I know is already quick. Um, but already, I'm digging it. Already, we can
Yeah, I
see.
like this setup. It's not really rules that they're setting up, but like I don't know. It's I'm missing the word I'm thinking of. My brain is fried. It's been a long week, but I feel like you understand what I'm trying to get at.
Um, it's the expectations that are on a witch, and
Yeah,
yeah, there
yeah.
we go.
There you
Clown to
go.
clown communication. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I feel like you can replace a witch with a woman, and it'll be the exact same. Which,
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't like to categorize all witches as women.
true. Men witches exist. And before you say, "Oh, that's a warlock," as a D&D nerd, no, it's not. I mean, if
They're
that's
two different things.
yeah. But yeah, like if you've listened to any top episodes, one of her most common sentiments is, "Why would a man be there?" So I think the witch being able to be a stand-in just for a woman, I think that might be applicable in this one. But we shall see. Are you ready to continue?
Yep.
All right. My father had gone that morning. My brave, intelligent father did not work in a safe place at all. He worked long, painful hours at the potash mine. I'd see him lumber out sometimes when I'd hidden below the pillows in the living room. His uniform was always weighing him down. I half expected the rotting floors to collapse below him. He looked so tired, so horribly tired every morning. His wrinkles made him look older than his years. His deep brown eyes, that in photos once shone bright, now looked gray and murky and dead. I woke up to hear the wailing creature. The morning smell of rot and grease and dampness filled my nose. I prepared for the moist feel of the rotten wood floors against my feet, like walking through sinking sand. In pajamas that I had long outgrown, clinging hard to my skin, the constant stickiness of my feet always made my spine shiver. I adjusted my witch hat before I stepped out of my room. I flinched, hearing how intense her screaming was across the bungalow. But no one else was there. I had to go, because a witch is always brave. The rot lingered through the hall, giving my nose the familiar stench of the old house. I had never seen the house fully furnished. Boxes and half-assembled furniture littered our cramped kitchen and our living room, with the small, boxy television. The windows in each room were closed and cold. I doubted you could even open them. They had mildew within the panes and required great effort to let the wind in. I could see stains of dead bugs long dried on the glass. Ugh. It was meant to be their forever home, where they would raise their children. My eyes turned to the 3 photos remaining of the wall. 3 photos of what used to be my mother. I had never seen her stand in person, only in these photos. She smiled in each one, but less and less. Each time, her hands wrapped around her stomach, which was always bulging and stretched against her skin. The bulge of a baby had always made my stomach burn with the urge to vomit. Her blonde hair had grown thinner and paler in each photo. Her skin had color, but it paled and dried like old grass. I had no brothers. Which right there, oh, I love that. Love that. That simple line, I had no brothers, immediately tells you she's been pregnant so long because they just really want sons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, already. I heard a thud and took a breath. A witch is always brave. So with each careful step, despite my legs quivering and my hands shaking, I made it outside of her room. I took a breath of rotting air in desperation, to prepare for what awaited me. She had rolled herself off the bed. The smell of hot, musty pee hit me hard. Ugh. I didn't gag anymore. The screaming was endless at that moment. Crackling like a fire I wish we had, rolling into itself to make waves of despair apparent. The crying of a dying woman never made me sad. It annoyed me. But a witch is good to her mother, even when her mother isn't good to her. I took a few careful steps into the room, only to see her yellow eyes glaring at me. Like a predator, I imagined she wanted nothing more than to pounce on me and rip me apart. Her long, yellow, fatless fingers gripped the bed. Not even the dark pea stain stopped her as she tried pulling herself up. She was so thin, so stubborn. I was already moving towards her when she fell again. Her knees made an echo as they hit each other. She and the rot were one and the same. I could see it in her shriveled, thin, yellow body. She must have consumed what little life was in the house just to sustain her frail body. The only thing that was large about my mother was her belly. There was a thick, meaty bulge to the right, pulsing colored veins that were easy to see. Her skin was so thin, like paper from an ancient scroll. She looked ancient. She smelled it as well, like dust and pee and rot. What little was left of her hair was shriveling onto itself, giving her mere spots of fuzz on her otherwise bald yellow head. Her fingers were long and wrinkled, and her face was that of a snarling dog, looking to bite the hand that fed it. Her eyes had no whites, just yellow, surrounding foggy brown pupils. Eyes that were so clearly filled with hate. Her lips were cracked and dry, and her tongue showed a long stretch of yellow rot. I could see the brownness of her decaying teeth as she lay below and sneered.
How long did you keep your poor dying mother here?
Her voice was like nails on a chalkboard. There was so little strength in her words. A mere whisper on the wind. A kick to that bulge in her belly would have killed her. I thought about it then. How me and Dad could finally leave when she died. I did not respond as I moved to the bathroom door, opening it. Mother tried to crawl, but her lack of strength left her crying on the floor. She only grew in tears as I rolled the wheelchair from the other side of the bed to her. We would have hired someone to take care of her. But we had little money as it was. Nothing fixed her. The hospital visits that I would ignore came and went by the dozens. The medication bottles I watched become empty were worthless. Even the needles I helped stick all over didn't work. She was dying, and we all knew it. My little hands wrapped around her armpits, and with all my force I lifted her. I had her set in the wheelchair, but no approval met my brown eyes. Her skinny arm tried to smack mine away, but it was only a light tap. I took a deep breath, rolling her along the rotting floors, out of the bedroom and into the living room, where I grabbed the remote. I turned it on before handing it to her. My soft hands brushed against her shriveled ones. My feet stayed stuck to the floor as I watched what little remained of her fingers crunch while trying to switch the channels. I reached out, but was met with a hiss.
I don't want you anywhere. Get out.
Every breath she choked out was dry, like a cat trying to cough up a hairball. I ignored her. She could bash her fingers until they bled for all I cared. I had to change the sheets. A witch always follows her rituals. The cleansing ritual was quite simple. I'd remove her wet sheets, taking them off each corner of her musty bed. It was pointless trying to get the dark stain out, so I chucked a pot of detergent into our rusty washer and shoved the pea sheets inside. I moved around enough to nearly forget the mousetrap floors. Grabbing the cleanest one I could find, I returned to the stench of her room, like boiled vegetables left to simmer for weeks. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break here. Holy smells! My goodness.
Okay, I have an idea here that this isn't really about a witch. It's about a little girl trapped and taking care of her mother, but she masks it behind calling herself a witch.
Yeah, like it's an escapism thing for a little kid.
Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah, she's got nothing. All she has are these smells, and anyone who has who gets triggered in the genuine way, people who are able to there are people who suffer from flashbacks. They will tell you that smell is one of the strongest things. You'll smell a smell, then all of a sudden, oh, you're somewhere else. And I think that that's also kind of what Top is writing on, where she's telling a story in the past tense, but she's talking about all the smells. She remembers the smells, and everything is very yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yellow and musty.
Yeah, you probably heard in the recording every little bit. I'm just like, ew, ugh, gross, ugh.
Like you're breathing in pure pee and mildew.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, it's awful. And the fact that everything's sticky too.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the mother's a nasty piece of work. But I think what's really doing the heavy lifting here is all the smells, how sticky it is, just how uncomfortable it is in a sensory manner. It is the worst senses. Yeah, and so I'm assuming Louise, so we are looking at the author's notes, and I'm assuming Louise is the name of our little character here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's like, okay, I have the responsibility to take care of my mom. And, you know, like Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. Um, and so she's like, well, if I have this responsibility, well, then I have this power too. So I think that's where we get a witch is never wasteful. A witch does what she does what she says. A witch will never be cruel unless it is demanded of her. But yeah, the smells are just nasty. I tried to make it quick as I remade her bed. Even the mattress below was stained brown from her years decaying there. I heard the soundtrack for a crime channel play quietly, and with caution, I sneaked out of her room. I heard her panting, dry breaths as she watched. The only detail I gathered from my journey over the sticky ground was a teenage girl killing her father. I didn't have to do the same to my mother. A witch will never be cruel, unless it is demanded of her. She'd be dead before Christmas if my plague charms worked. Little rat skulls stuffed with crunchy leaves found only in autumn, tied with frayed rope. I had to kill 2 to make it, because I bashed the first one too roughly. I had the skull shards in my school bag just in case. A witch is never wasteful. Once I was in my room, with the faded nursery wallpaper and the closed, greasy window, I removed the 2 tight pajamas and donned my witch's garbs. My long black dress was from my Halloween costume last year. It was scratchy against my skin, but the sheer fabric made my bones tingle with flutters. Then I got my long black and orange striped socks, my big black boots, and stuffed my matted hair under my witch's hat. I left my room, grabbing the old, moist bag and twisting it over my shoulders. It had some emergency magic supplies inside, so it was always a little wet and always heavy. Before we get into it, I just want to say, she's so cute!
Yeah, bashing rats skulls. Yeah, that's so cute.
I mean, aside from the animal stuff, but like, the little outfit, oh my god. And the pajamas that are too small, the matted hair, our girl's being neglected here.
Mm-hmm. Free as a bird, quick as an eel. Let me go fast, no trace on my heels.
I whispered my chant to move for the door, hoping my spell would work. It didn't.
You can't. You look.
She stopped trying to talk. Her bony, coiled form remained hunkered over the wheelchair. The living room looked so dark that her yellowness stood out far more. Even the shadows seemed to want to hide from her. I could see the vivid outlines of bones under her thin layer of skin. She was a serpent that could not walk and only slithered. The room felt both freezing and boiling under her gaze. I was as much of a burden as the rotten wood that would stick to her chair and force her in place. She looked as dry as sand and as wet as sludge at the same time. Parts of her, I could imagine, were her scales, but others were her grease. All I knew that she was a beast that would soon be dead, if my charms worked. My hand wrapped around the doorknob.
I'm a witch, and witches are always brave. I'm never embarrassed.
I said it more to myself than to her, but she only scoffed.
Look what your magic does to me. Nothing but death. Your little spells, shut.
She gave a dry chuckle at the end, and her whole body seemed to shake alive with the warmth of hate. She didn't know she was talking nonsense. I turned the doorknob and walked outside, but I still heard the chuckle turn into dry heaves. Ugh. I was a true witch, even if she was too sick to see it. And nothing could tear me from my dream of real magic leaving my fingers. No stories of evilness or cruelty. A witch was always good to those who needed goodness. An evil witch was no real witch. So I walked in my big winter boots and smelled the fresh air of autumn mixed with the stink of the house. Rot and cold hung over me always. The trees that lined the gravel road to my house were dry and leafless, all having fallen under a storming wind. The cold gray sky, covered in cold gray clouds, was so bland. Walking over fallen leaves would normally make me happy. Seeing their colors and hearing their cries, but the reds and oranges and yellows looked lifeless and did not crunch beneath my feet. The gravel scratched my boots. I waved to the tall grass field like I did every morning, but something made me stop.
A witch is always brave.
I spoke quietly. It was not close, not by any means, but I knew what it was. Far off, in the tall, dry grass, was a tall, slick fox. With orange fur that swept over its body and large, circular white ears. It had a long black snout and a fluffy white tail. But it was taller, longer, and larger than any fox I had ever seen. I imagined it would have fangs that ripped through birds and snakes and bunnies. Whatever fear I should have had left me as a stupid, childish thought fluttered into my mind. My familiar. Every witch had them, and I was a good witch. I was a very good witch, even if none of my spells worked the proper way. I took a step forward, expecting it to run to me, but it shook its head. It wasn't saying no. I knew it was asking me to stay back. But my heart held what little sense a child had, not my head. I was lonely and loveless and desperate. My head told me the truth I'd waited to hear for years. This was my chance for magic. Real magic that I could taste and smell and feel. I took a step forward, but the wind pushed me down hard in a violent burst. I rolled onto the ground and in a panic looked for the tall, slick fox, but he was gone. A witch does not leave questions unanswered. I had questions for the tall, slick fox. I got on my feet, fixed my witch hat, and flew through the grass. I felt faster than light as each step gave way to an endless place of peace. Ooh, I like that alliteration. What was to fear when everything, for thousands of steps around me, was clear and empty and safe? I'd be able to spot the tall, slick fox easily. I could see trees far in the distance, dark bushes that were taller than my house, and the morning sun blinding my eyes. I could hear the yellow bus chugging towards the end of my road. I froze for a minute, scared of what my mother would say when the phone rang and the school said I was absent. But the wind brushed against my witch hat and ears and told me I'd be safe. All I had to do was duck and run. The sky started burning darker. Oh, sorry, did you have something to say?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just listening.
That must have been echo. The sky started burning darker. I could hear the songs of birds. Not just little ones, but I imagined large birds of every color hiding in the growing number of bright autumn trees. But the more I ran, the louder their melody grew, squawking and cawing and then screaming to form their chorus. But the trees grew larger and brighter, and any chirps and screeches were masked by the leaves of trees I'd never seen before. My head persisted, claiming it was all the familiar's test, because a witch is always brave. My heart pounded against all other organs, begging them to stop me, that we were falling into a mousetrap. But my head was all I knew to understand, so I kept running. I imagined the small television of my mother and the feeling of movement under my skin. I shut my eyes and ran and ran and ran and ran and did not stop until the smell hit my heavy breaths. I sniffed the air once, twice, a dozen times before I dared to open my eyes. It was cinnamon. I had a cinnamon bun before, fresh from the oven. It smelled like that, but better. Indescribably better. In front of me was nothing, just tall, dry grass, empty for leagues beyond. No roads, no trees, no leaves, no mothers, no fathers, just nothing. The sky looked much darker than I thought it should be. Fear bloomed in me. I started to turn back, but what my eyes saw made my blood stiffen in place. Every thump in my heart, the roar of my unfed belly, the pounding of my lungs all stopped for a single moment. There was a house. So, with this already, we have such a nice rhythm to this story. Like, it's a very enjoyable to read aloud.
It's very descriptive, and I love that.
Yeah, and like, it's, man, just automatically how the smells change from rot and pee and yellow being just this awful bad. Like, yellow is just bad. Yellow is imprisonment. Yellow is the color of her mom. Yellow is the color of the bus.
Yeah, and now it feels like the colors are fall colors. So like orange and brown and
And I'm curious about something. So I know cinnamon's spiritually important for witches. Um, so from the otherworldlyoracle.com, so it's been thousands of years. It was used in mummification process. Um, and it is particularly present during 2 seasons, autumn and winter. Cinnamon's magic properties include protection, money, strength, love, amplification, divination, connection to ancestors in the spirit world. So, connection, a change, strength being brave, wanting love. So, cinnamon is very fitting for this.
yes.
So, yeah, great job. I don't know if that was intentional, Top, but great job. A small wooden house with a large brick chimney. The planks were red. The roof was a strange mix of wheat and stone. It looked almost like my bungalow, but better. The smoke leaving the red chimney shifted into fluffy clouds of white mist and flew into the sky, making the whole night smell of cinnamon. It was so dark here. So many stars in the sky formed constellations and faces I had never seen before. And they didn't shine white. They shone a beautiful golden light that reflected in the surrounding grass. The tall grass I had loved so dearly was blooming now. Each tip of the surrounding blade sprouted a large, beautiful flower with sweet smells and colorful petals. Man. The windows of the house were stained, like the windows in the church. Like the church they showed pictures, but I couldn't see them. It was blurry. The only part of the house that was, in fact. They swirled with so many colors, but I could see mainly pinks and yellows and oranges. The windows shifted before me until my favorite colors took the shapes of stained, dancing women. I saw 3 large trees rise from the ground behind the house. Thick, sturdy stumps became giant red trees with every color of leaf. Greens and blues and purples were littered among the blinding amount of large red and orange and yellow leaves. With one swirl of the wind, hundreds of them brushed from the trees and wrapped around me before flying into the distance like birds. It was my first taste of magic, and I needed more. My belly churned like I was going to throw up, but my mind made my whole body light. With giddy excitement, I turned around with a slow, full body shake and screamed with glee. The golden light of the stars was there in the flower field as well. Fireflies. Fireflies floated around the flowers, and deer. There were so many deer. Large and soft and beautiful and dancing. I don't know how I knew it, but they were frolicking around each other, rubbing their heads together. I could almost hear the melody of their hooves. Babies huddled beside their standing mothers. I wanted to race out and touch one, but one of them saw me first. I felt my fear simply leave as a large, beautiful doe with spiraled golden horns and fuzzy white patches sauntered to me slowly. Its impossibly large black eyes stared at me, and I giggled when it smelled me, laughing when it licked me. I put my hands on its neck and nearly fell asleep from the mere touch of its fluffy fur. Damn, that's some magic there, Top. God damn.
Mm-hmm.
I took a whiff, and the cinnamon was intense. I held my tongue in my mouth, holding myself back from licking the fur. My eyes looked at the endless flowers around me, at the way all the deer stared, and I felt lighter than air. I knew instinctively that there were other animals wherever I was, that the tall, slick fox must be hiding. I looked up at the doe with its large black eyes and shimmering golden horns, and the hope that I had found my familiar took root. I'm going to take this one. I'm afraid not, Louise. She belongs to I. I should have felt fear, but feeling the soft fur against my cheek made me so calm. My face had practically melted into the doe's neck. The softness of the voice was like a quilt. So when I turned again, how could I be disappointed when I saw a woman? Good mood. Even when my little heart begged me to run away, thumping rapidly in my chest as if I was dangling 1,000 feet in the air, my legs made no effort. My brain simply tried to register what exactly she was. Taller than my father, and I could tell she was stronger too. She had an older but gentle face, with hair like warm honey. It was long and curly and smooth and shiny, like it was once silk. 2 strands seemed to curl over her head into crescents and stayed stuck there. I was a bit startled at how large and black her eyes were, but they looked kind, if not a little concerned. Her face had wrinkles, but they looked natural. She looked like my mother in a way, but better. She stood strong, leaning against the door, with just enough space for me to dream of slipping inside her home. She had large lips that were moist red, and a long black dress. I realized what I was looking at then.
You're a witch! A true witch!
All the thoughts of the golden horned doe, my father, my mother, and the stains on the sheets, the smell, the rot, and the bones, and the heat, and the cold in my life left me. Before me was a nice-smelling witch who knew my name. My excitement flickered dead as my heart's message reached my head. How did she know my name? Before panic could seep into my bones, the woman answered with a voice as honey-like as her hair. I hear your heart screaming it. Tell me, Louise, are those your witch's garbs? She was so soft, so kind, so warm that my feet moved before I even registered it. She knew me, understood that I was a proper and true witch, just like I knew she had to be. How could one be so beautiful and not be good? I only thought the word yes for her smile to grow. Her teeth were white. They did not look rotten. They looked young and cleaned and flossed and rather large. I imagined the tall, slick fox and wondered whose teeth were larger. A fox? Why, I've never met a fox. You must be confused, little Lou. Only deer roam my territory. I accepted it. He could be a deer. I looked at her dress and thought it was familiar from the school drawings of pilgrims. I always drew mine all black, with the frills and the lace being black too. Her dress looked like my drawing, but golden trim floated onto her gown. She took a step forward, leaving her house. I could tell then that the cinnamon scent all around us was from her. School is a place of learning. Why aren't you there, little Lou? Don't you know there are snatchers in the woods? Ones who can smell you, though you don't smell pleasing.
I chased the deer here, and now I've met a true witch. I'm not afraid of snatchers in the woods. I'll curse them. I'm a witch as well.
She looked through me, into my heart and mind and all my body parts. She could tell I was magic, I hoped. A flash to a cackling green witch stirring my frail, meatless yellow body, and a cauldron invaded my mind, but a brush of the wind wiped it clean. When she spoke again, I smiled wider than I ever had before. So wide that my lips felt a tear. So wide that my lips felt a tear. Little droplets of blood slipped into my mouth. I didn't register the harm of her words because the ending was so sweet. I suppose it's fate that you wouldn't taste good. A witch will always welcome another witch. I nodded eagerly. She knew the witch's code. I took another step forward, and she matched me with elegance in her step. She looked at my hands vibrating with excitement. She sniffed the air before focusing on me. You smell of rot and hunger. It is a foul scent. I didn't have an answer to that. The wind touched my back, making me forget my shame. For a moment, both of my feet lifted off the ground. When they touched the earth again, it felt so solid. Nothing like the wood in my house. The witch was close enough that I saw her bone-thin hands touch my cheeks and felt the shocking warmth of them, like the sun against my skin. And when I looked at her, those black voids were filled with love. She smelled so sweet, cinnamon mainly, but I could almost taste the sugar cookies on her, or the cake, or the pie. I felt my eyes water as I looked at her, and without me having to ask, the witch hugged me. and my arms hugged her back. She lifted me into her home with no force. I had heard 6 sentences from this woman, yet I sniffed her hair and loved her. Cinnamon and sweets and a hint of a warm fire. She set me down in a chair with a thick pillow. I watched the way her hips moved. She left, and something told me she was in the kitchen. It was only after I had noticed her leaving that I even bothered looking around the home. It was perfect. The fireplace was made of proper red bricks, burning a fire not orange, but blue. It was magic. Magic once more filled me as I saw all the towering, vine-covered shelves with books. Thousands of thick, colorful books that I knew must be filled with pictures. The floor beneath my feet was not rotting wood, but soft red carpet. Smooth and fluffy. It was softer than my bed. I didn't question where my shoes went. The table was made of beautiful red wood, and the plate I hadn't seen set before me was painted with red and orange and yellow autumn leaves. I looked at the ceiling and couldn't help but giggle in glee. Paintings! Hundreds of small, intricate paintings of all the things I always drew. Suns with smiles and seas filled with fish that... They were moving. The paintings on the ceiling were moving. The fish swam through the blues and teals of the ocean, onto the green land. I watched them shift into men in knightly armor and women in drenched gowns of gold and silver. They danced together before the men dove back into the sea, turning once more into colorful fish. The women jumped into the air and began to fly, their gowns stretched into long wings of dragons. In but an instant, the witch had a hand on my hat, and I leaned into it. I didn't even see her move behind me. Little Lou, what does your stomach grumble for? I didn't know. My first thought was my father's craft dinner. He always made it with ramen noodles as well, and sometimes little hot dogs were cut into it. My mouth watered, but I shook my head. This was a witch! Witches were always proper good cooks.
We miss Thanksgiving?
I asked with hesitation. A witch is never greedy. But to my amusement and delight, she stroked my head with smooth, elegant fingers covered in gold rings with bright gems embedded in them. You dream of warm meat from a turkey, thick potatoes filled with butter, and sauce red and dripping, and the mix of bread and herbs and gardens, and the warm, salty hot bread, and thick brown gravy you can drink like soup. You can tell Top's Canadian because the peak of autumn, that's when we got our Thanksgiving. I felt my breath hitch as she moved. And within a moment, sentiments and treats were mixed with the smell of everything she described. My mouth watered and slobbered till I was drooling in my seat. Her feet were hooves. Deer hooves. Nothing to be scared of. Even as they left deep imprints that the carpet struggled to recover from. I looked behind me, expecting to see nothing so exciting, but I saw a ladder. Books and chairs and mason jars and blades and cages, but all my mind saw was the ladder. A ladder wrapped in vines that I knew led to an alcove above the ceiling. Underneath the stone and wheat roof would be a room. Mine. I knew it had a bed that would be softer than clouds. I knew its sheets would wrap me in ever-loving warmth and be perfectly unstained. I wanted to be there, tucked in beside me like a stuffy. Oh, I'm gonna cry. This poor little girl. Like, she just wants things that are soft. She just wants things to... Oh my god.
She just wants a proper childhood.
Yeah, she just wants someone who will love her. I notice that everything's red here, but we still get flickers of the yellow, which I think signals to us, hey, something's going on.
I agree.
I felt
I think this is all in her mind.
Yeah, I think this is a Coraline situation, which fills me with fear.
I think this is all trauma built up, turning into her mind expressing it in a way that she wants it.
Yeah, she just wants to not be neglected.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I felt a few fat tears roll down my cheeks and I smiled. A large, toothy smile that felt unnatural on my face. The walls disagreed, seeming to blush a hotter shade of red. You have lovely teeth, little Lou. The witch came in, graceful and holding a plate with thick, brown, delicious-smelling turkey. It was larger than any turkey I'd ever seen. It was nearly as big as a pumpkin. My tongue hung out of my mouth as I watched her, and the turkey, and then her again. She knew my question before I even thought of it. I'm magic. I draw magic from the earth and all that lives on it. All witches are blessed with beauty like I. You are a witch, as I am. You need not worry about the pot or any ugliness. Not ever again. Would you like hair like mine? I shuddered. Something tried to get me out of my seat, but my hands gripped the edge. In one flick of her eyes, my toque was lifted gently off my head. Canadian, I say as a Canadian. Yeah, she makes no secret. Top makes no secret of being Canadian. And has said that, yeah, basically, unless stated otherwise, all her stories are in Canada. Yeah, so my toque was lifted gently off my head and placed in her hands. I watched her saunter behind me as her soft, lovely hands started running through my matted hair. Plates were carried in the air, landing on the table with performed grace. The potatoes that smelled so heavily of butter and sweetness. Stuffing that was hot and thick and warm. The cranberry sauce I could tell was made fresh and not from a can. It smelled so sweet. More tears rolled down my cheeks as the first strand of my hair, now reaching to my elbow, was pressed before me, brushed and smooth. A shame that the mortals will not see your hair. How lovely and smooth it is. Has your mother ever brushed it? Do they even remember you have it? Those parents of yours. I wanted to disagree with her, but reasoning in my own memories held me back. She hummed a song as the gravy, deep brown and thick, was placed on the side. And finally the bread rolls, freshly made. I knew the feast before me would still be fresh and hot and wondrous in my mouth. I could not tell what were tears rolling onto my lap and what was drool pouring out of my mouth. They blended together into a wet, messy expression of joy. Her soft hum made me forget all other songs. Hers gave me nothing but peace. Slowly, as I sat, sobbing and sorry, I zoned out for a second.
You're all good.
I got so into the story, I just kind of fell into the illusion. And then I'm like, wait, hang on, I'm supposed to be reading here. Slowly, as I sat sobbing and snotty, my matted hair became soft and smooth and straight and silky and dark as night. She did not stop until every strand was magical. It was like straw spun gold. She did not stop at perfection. With the final touch, I saw a tint of pink in my hair. I giggled, and the paintings and the witch and the deer outside joined me. Our giggles turned to silence when her hand pushed my head down, forcing me to look at my now filled plate. I must have been led to heaven by one of the witch's deer. Honestly, I think that's what happened. I think this girl was murdered.
I think she died of starvation, malnutrition.
Yeah, because the yellow skin, jaundice, something's wrong with your organs. And if your skin is described as, like, fucking yellow, you're in a bad way. And
also, she was messing with dead rats.
Honestly, with the rest of the shit that's going on in that house, the rats are probably the cleanest. Like, with all the rot, and because everything is sticky, nothing's cleaned.
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like it was just neglect. Pure neglect killed her. Or she ran across the field and got hit by a truck. I don't know. We'll see. But I am feeling so maternal about Louise. I want to hug her. The thickest, Warmest cut of red meat had come from the turkey. Last remnant of normal whispered that turkey wasn't red, but I drooled anyway. Okay, so it wasn't just me thinking, huh, that's not right. The skin of the turkey was brown and roasted to perfection, and cranberry sauce was lathered over it. The potatoes were swirled like ice cream and drenched in that thick brown gravy. 2 steaming dinner rolls were stuffed next to it, right next to the heaps of hot stuffing. I looked up to see that the witch was sitting across from me, a similarly stuffed plate. And also, again, talking about the Canadian experience, hearing what you guys do for Thanksgiving, like, this is absolutely everything that people have for Thanksgiving in Canada. The only thing missing is carrots. That's it.
Okay, call me ignorant, but I didn't know you guys celebrated Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we do. It's just in October.
Oh.
So for us, it's our holidays go. So like for the ones coming up, there is July 1st, which is our Independence Day. And from there, nothing until Labor Day. And then,
Okay.
then after that, the stores get the school supplies out. After that, it's Thanksgiving, and then it's Halloween.
Got you.
So like for us, or at least for me anyways, and my family, Thanksgiving for Canada has always been, okay, now fall's starting.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you guys have Box Day too, right?
Yes, we have Boxing Day. That is after
The day
Christmas.
after our Thanksgiving.
Nope, Boxing Day is the day after Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So historically, what it was, well, rich people needed their Christmas stuff, so they needed the servants to work it. So the day after, they'd be like, hey, for being an awesome dude, here's the day off. I'm giving you gifts. I'm giving you extra stuff. Like, servants, at least if your employer wasn't a piece of shit, you'd be eating good that day.
Okay.
And so now Boxing Day has become like our version of Black Friday, except eventually we also ended up getting Black Friday.
Oh, so you guys are greedy. Gotcha.
Yeah, we're greedy. But at least our turkeys are spaced out.
Yeah, we do. I'm not a big fan of turkey. It messes with my stomach, and I just don't like the taste of it. So we always do ham on both Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, ham is so good.
But funny enough, pork fucks up my stomach too. But I like the taste of ham, so I stomach it.
Yeah, you just have a sensitive tummy. It's okay.
I do have IBS, so
Hot girl tummy
everything
problems.
messes up my stomach, but some things mess it up more.
Yeah, no. I am what I would consider like a Russian roulette lactose intolerant, where like sometimes I have milk stuff, I'm vibing, I'm doing great. Other times I have milk stuff, oh no, everything's bad, everything's awful. Surprisingly, ice cream never triggers it, but yogurt is almost always does.
Huh.
It's weird.
Maybe it's the what are they called? The little living organisms and dairy products.
Yeah, I think yogurt has too many organisms, but frozen yogurt also does it, because I was gonna say the cold kills them, but no. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a Russian roulette, and sometimes yogurt will be fine, and yeah. So yeah, every time I have dairy, it's I am rolling a dice on whether or not I'm in pain.
Rolling that nat 20 on the pain.
Yeah. Okay. So
Sorry, I distracted us with the holiday talk.
All good. I was also thinking about food. Um, the unfortunate thing about Top's writing is she is so description heavy that I'm like, oh, I'm in. I'm in. Oh shit, I'm too in.
Hmm. Yeah. Speaking of food, I did eat one of those drumstick ice cream things while we've been on call.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, I might make bread after this. But I do have to clean the kitchen floor. Anyways, let's try and get through this.
Okay. We gotta get through the stories.
Yeah. We stared into each other's eyes, and I saw anticipation in hers. She motioned her hand, and 4 other chairs that were tucked under the table were pulled out. Each with scrawling designs, and different colored pillows with sigils on them. Mine did not have one, I remembered. Yet. She pointed to the food, and how could anybody resist her command? Eat. I didn't even grab a fork. My hands dug into the potatoes first, and I melted in my chair. The sensation of hot, thick, buttery goodness was mixed and swirled with the salty meatiness of the gravy. I shoveled it down my throat and mixed in the sweetness of the cranberries and the turkey. Ugh, nothing could compare to the turkey. It was hot and moist in my mouth, tender and chewy, and so simply good I consumed. I ravaged my plate, and when it was done, I felt no shame in licking it clean. When I set my plate down, feeling for the first time in my life a fullness, the witch was not in her chair at the dining table. She instead sat cross-legged and clean-faced before the blue fire. My belly and heart had been satisfied, but my mind was long dulled. Only the heavy pounding of my lungs tried to stop me. But I walked out of my chair and across the soft red carpet. The books all called my name with wonderful, glittery titles, but none so eye-catching as the simple black book that appeared in her lap. I took a seat across from her and met her black voids with a dreamy, sleepy glance. Her long, jeweled fingers opened the book. Only to the first page. She spoke, and I listened. We are gifts, but we must, little Lou. Sometimes witches must do bad things. We must eat bad things and be bad things. Do you want to be a true witch? She turned the page to me. There were 5 names written. I felt a thud in my lap, and when I looked down at my thick, true, smooth pilgrim dress, a quill was on it now, with a blue and black feather, and a pointed tip like a tooth. I looked at her and spoke without speaking.
Will it hurt?
Her mouth did not move, but I understood her. It will be bloody. You will be drained of all that runs red in you. But when you sign, you need not ever leave here. You can stay home. I thought of my hair and my food and the tall, slick fox and what would await for me in the world where leaves and mothers died. And a witch is always brave. So I pricked my thumb until it bled on the sharp point of the quill and began to write my name.
Louise!
The howling could be heard from the field as clear as sirens, both of their broken voices. I shook my head, putting 2 fingers between my eyes. The little girl was stolen right in front of her house. It was her father who called, screaming that his little girl was missing. He gave me the address, and me and 100 other officers had looked, and called, and worried, and looked. Not a single trace of the girl. Not shoes or shoe prints. Nobody saw or heard her, not even tire tracks on the gravel road.
Louise!
The mother was beside herself. I tried asking her what had happened, but she clawed at her face and her stomach, and I nearly threw up my lunch when I smelled the inside of the home. The mother fell off her wheelchair and dragged herself to the door. She had hardly looked human. She looked at me, and I knew that the woman was cruel. She told me she just wanted to see her daughter and listen to her spells, whatever that meant. Both her parents told me she had an obsession with witches. For the past few hours, every few seconds, you could hear a heart-wrenching wail of her daughter's name, Louise. The name clung to my ears, and I knew at that moment the name would be a sad memory, that we would either never find her, or find her in the field, dead or wishing to be. She was certainly nowhere safe.
Louise!
Her father may rip apart this field. He dug harder than any of the police, stomping through the grounds as he roared her name. I watched him flip rocks to try and find her body squished under them. I watched him rip apart his own house, throwing little animal bones out the door. And now he was back, sobbing and heaving, and calling for his daughter, Louise, over and over. More people had joined the search party and had spread farther out. A poor little girl with dark hair and a witch's costume. Her teacher said that she didn't have friends at school, that she liked collecting dead animals. A typical strange kid who simply vanished. I saw the looks of my fellow officers, of my deputies and lieutenants. The little girl wasn't in the woods hiding, or she would have come out. How far could she have run in the cold autumn breeze? She was snatched. How many are there that leave with the leaves? How many summer children are gone by winter? Louise was screamed in unison, cries rolling through the wind, for a girl that I already knew would never see her parents again.
Louise!
I smelled the air, expecting rot and cold, but only found the surprisingly light scent of cinnamon. And that is the end! Oh my god! First, let's... Art done by the Roman Empire. Wow. That is such pretty artwork. So yes, what are we thinking here?
I love it. And I feel like my theory was correct, that all that trauma built up made her. But I will say, so I think my theory was correct, that all that trauma built up made her think that it was all real and it was just in her head. But at the same time, at the end, he did say he smelt cinnamon.
Yeah, I like that there's like a bit of unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did this witch actually get her? Is the witch malicious? Part of me... Have you ever read the story The Little Match Girl?
No.
It's a terribly depressing story that's usually read at Christmas time, where this little girl is in poverty, and so she's trying to sell matchsticks. And she's so cold. She's freezing to death. And she lights a match. And she sees her grandmother comforting her. And she's like, Grandma, don't go. But the match goes out, and so does she. Every time she lights a match, she sees more things that give her comfort. And then the story ends by saying, like, the next day, they found this girl's body surrounded by a bunch of burnt matches. And that's what this reminds me of. And it's one of those ones where it's like, it's really, it's like, it's sad, but at the same time, it's one of those, like, I know she's happy. And she's probably better off here. But yeah, that was a true witch.
It was very good. I enjoyed all the descriptions. Top does descriptions so well.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Like, Top is amazing. There's a reason they are a trophy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, hold up.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Now Satan won't steal your soul.
What?
Speaking of souls, let's move on to Tar in the Soul.
No, don't steal my soul.
I said bless you so your soul won't be stolen.
Oh, I thought you said that you were gonna steal my soul now because you blessed me.
Nah. As we've learned from the movie Obsession, owning a soul is a lot of responsibility.
Oh, he just wasn't trying hard enough.
He really wasn't. Bear, oh my god. We can have a conversation about Obsession after the stories.
Sorry, Top. Your stories are getting pushed aside today. This episode's going straight to Obsession.
All right. Yay, there's now more dialogue. I won't die.
Okay. I will say I am a sucker for stories in the 70s, but mostly because most stories in the 70s are like camp slashers, and that's due to Friday the 13th, and I love camp slashers.
Oh my god, yeah.
But I know this won't be a camp slasher, but I'm not upset by that.
Yeah. Also, love the booty shorts of the 70s. Men knew how to show it off.
Men ass everywhere.
Yeah! And underboob. Like all the crop tops there.
Not as exciting.
70s was an exciting time for fashion.
Yep.
Alright. So, beginning. A Tar in the Soul by Top Contribution, 1248. 1978. I'm recording now for clarity's sake. This will all be on the record.
Fine by me, darling. That's right, fine by me.
Psst. By the way, Top said no southern accents because it's all Canadian.
Fuck! Damn it. Damn you, Canadians. All right.
Normally, I would edit that out, but that fuck was so funny. I'm keeping it in.
Fine by me, darling. That's right, fine by me.
Now, Matthew, you've owned this quaint little store for some years now.
Since I was, 22? Christ. That's 9 years now. Got it running nice and smooth now.
It's a strange name, Maddie's. Doesn't say much about the store or who runs it or what even sells.
Everyone in redacted knows what Maddie sells. Don't you worry, darling. See, the darling is throwing me off. Every single time I read darling, I just want to throw on a southern accent.
Yeah, it is very much like... Well, I mean, I think maybe we could make the argument for it and beg for Top's forgiveness by saying that there was a man who was born Canadian in Canada his whole life, but also had such a thick country accent. He always called me Patsy Cline after the country singer.
Oh, so he's a poser.
No, but not even, because, like, this man lived the redneck lifestyle. Like, there is... I don't know about wherever Top is in Canada, but I know my area, or my neck of the woods, there would be these random people where I'm like, you know we're not in Texas, right? Where the fuck did you get that accent? Why are you a cowboy? How are the cowboys here? They're supposed to be in Alberta.
Your guys' cows are meese.
Yeah. Moose are fucking big.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see a pack of meese, though.
As long as you are very far away. If not, it will kill you.
I want to pet them dogs. Can I pet them dogs?
Okay, so do we want to try again?
Yeah, we'll try that again.
It's a strange
Everyone...
name. Ah, fuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll start from
yeah,
the
you
intro.
go back there. Yeah.
It's a strange name, Maddie's. Doesn't say much about the store or who runs it or what it even sells.
Everyone in knows what Maddie sells. Don't you worry, darling. And I know it ain't no big chain or nothing. God, this guy is so southern. But it's a good, solid sort of shop. Folks drop their kitties here, go about their day, and my missus adores them. She's a real sweetheart, Marie. You want to know? Aw, she's busy. Hardworking, too. I thank the Lord that I got a woman like that. Maddie's, you see, it's a place people trust, and I pride myself on that. Top, you're making it hard for me.
Actually, hang on. Let's double check. Let's double check the notes. 'Cause there's no way this man isn't Southern.
Yeah, he's saying ain't. He's bringing up the Lord, darling, sweetheart, folks. All he's missing is y'all.
Yeah. Okay, so Shauna should sound skittish, nervous. Henry is a traditional masculine man with a lighter tone, while Wapon should sound casual and a little flirty. George is put together and prim, while Maddie is rougher but kinder sounding. All the italic sections are Georgia and Maddie. Oh, by the way, trigger warning of graphic description of miscarriage for everybody that might be sensitive about. We will put a timestamp on when the story ends. Yeah, so Maddie. Yeah, so Maddie is rough but kind.
Rough but kind. Alrighty. I will get back to.
All
That
right.
name intrigues me. Maddie's? Is it a childhood nickname?
Oh wait, hang on. Actually, I think hang on. Let's go back again because I think that one might have just been a mistake.
Which one?
So that name intrigues me because that seems to be Georgia, but oopsies. Quotes. That name intrigues me. Maddie's? Is it a childhood nickname?
You bet. My old man named me Matthew, but hey, it's a mouthful. I stoop Maddie proper. Now, don't I, darling? Don't I, Marie? Stoop Maddie. She's not in interviews, but she'd be much better than I am. Afraid I don't get interviewed often.
No. You're a shockingly good liar. It's surprising for a man of your nature.
What?
I know your name isn't Matthew, nor is it a childhood nickname. And you've been interviewed plenty, Kenny Gibson. I'll make this easy for you. You can either answer all of my questions, or I'll release a statement to any and every news source we can contact that the little Gibson boy lives in and is more than happy to do an interview.
How'd you find me?
You went to your sister's funeral. A supposedly regular, supposedly unrelating man speaking at an addict's funeral was enough of a lead to start with. And here you are. Are you ready? I have a lot of questions.
Marie, take him outside. Seems me and Georgia here gotta have a rough sort of talk.
The sound of her wailing was torment. Shauna knew how easy it would be to shove a pillow over the crying thing. Shauna knew she wouldn't stop when she started. Not until her hands had stopped shaking, not until its skin was bluer than the pool. She continued to bounce it along her chest, staring at nothing in particular. Henry, for his doting father act, shoved Kenny off him, snapping him off somewhere. If Shauna had done such a thing?
Donna?
She heard Esther talk, glancing down first. She knew well enough that looking was a sin. Shauna didn't listen to the word of God any longer, and he sent Esther as punishment. And Amber with those...
Yes, I'm due this January. Oh, Lord. I wish I had that luck. Me and Andrew tried for months before we got our Andy home. Cigarette? You look tense, Shauna. Hang on. Isn't she pregnant?
The 50s.
I think it's just Canadians.
No.
You guys give your babies cigarettes and maple syrup?
No, we don't. Maple syrup, maybe. I think my area grandma, I think she did the whole um, whiskey on front of baby's teething.
Yes, they do that in the South every now and then. Not so much anymore, but
Yeah, I remember my mom said that she was horrified when she heard about that. Oh yeah, your name of oldest child here is teething. Just get a bit of whiskey and then you'll be good. It was either whiskey or rum.
my grandmother did honey.
Yeah, it'd probably be better.
Yeah.
Alright, she didn't even look. Her hand reached out and she practically shoved it in her mouth. To stay slender, Henry told her. Ugh. As if she hadn't been pulling open the windows during her hours and hours and hours and hours alone and bored and cleaning just to air the smoke of her secret out. She looked to her husband, a beaming, winning smile on his face. He beckoned her over, and Shauna almost didn't listen. She nearly let her red heels smash into Kenny's floaties. As a boy his age shouldn't be wearing anything so girly. She didn't. Shauna walked with her eyes downcast, avoiding the feeling of eyes on her, listening to all the different sounds instead. Shauna is, or was, a stunning young woman. Before her body, thicker from her now third pregnancy, betrayed her. Before it grew marked with purple and yellow bruises, stretch marks that cut like scars and flabby. Henry told her what he wanted, so smoking and skipping meals it was. I hate Henry. All my homies hate Henry. And once again, the color yellow. Jesus.
I think Top likes yellow.
Yeah. Not that anyone here noticed. The children were screeching about some gamer thing, something so stupid that it hurt her brain to even think about. The women whispered at her departure, as if they didn't all say the most terrible gossip about one another, and the pool continued lapping against the stone. Her shoes clicked in sync with the ice in her husband's glass, and the crying hadn't stopped. She let out another cloud of smoke before plugging it right back in, ignoring the urge to jam it down her throat. Henry Gibson was a traditional man of sorts. He'd served his country well during the Great War, though he didn't talk about it often. He held an excellent job for his father, and he provided his family with everything they could want. Picket white fence, pool in the back, 2 stories, the works. Shauna was a pearl, a real fox even in her state. Henry truly raged when she got like this, acting all miserable, as if there was anything he couldn't give her. He'd brought her 2 different doctors who gave him 2 different bottles meant to make her happy. He sighed, forgetting his current company for a moment. At least she could dress well. Henry was grateful for that, showing a bit of belly for his hopefully second son. He'd gotten her a one-piece that pushed her form properly, red polka dots that made her glossy blue eyes shine more. She didn't look fat in this, and thank God for that. I hate this man. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
Wow, you're getting a little misogynistic.
I hate this man so much. Reading these words, I'm like, I'm stab.
No. I think this is how you really are.
Towards myself. He spoke loudly, like a charming sort of general, wrapping his arm around her waist. She didn't shy from it, but her frown twitched lower.
My wife here was telling me just the other day about Janie. Tell him, Shauna.
That dopey little secretary with those 2 tiny skirts that pushed up bust and that trashy voice. Fuck. She reeked of trailer trash dressing up as something respectable. Her husband, with his one-track mind, assumed all her talk about proper workplace attire was from jealousy. Maybe it was. Shauna wouldn't mind working anywhere, really. She didn't say that. She opened her mouth and said nothing. A strange pause filled the back garden, like they were hanging on her word. The quiet only made the wailing worse. Would it really be so hard as to slip? To slip on those 2 high heels of her, to fall and let it fall too? Falling, her cigarette had fallen from her mouth. She tried to laugh, but it sounded far too forced. His hand on her waist tightened. Pregnancy. Oh, wait. Shit.
Yeah. You're so eager to get the misogynistic lines, aren't you? I'm on to you, Bats.
God damn it.
Pregnancy brain, gentlemen. The woman can't even smoke proper. Here, gimme Penny. Don't want you dropping her while you get all stupid.
Clipping that, sending it to your wife. His fake laughter was much better than her own. She looked at the still-lit cigarette on the ground, right by the too blue water. It was all too much. He prattled on about Jenny, his hand digging into her side. Kenny watched her with his father's brown eyes, judging her at his young age. Were they all judging her? She swallowed her vomit, a struggle, as it seemed to dig into every inch of her throat, chugging upwards, threatening to spill. The doorbell rang. She practically pried herself away from Henry, cheerful as she could manage, speaking in a sing-song voice that came off brittle. She hardly made it through the open kitchen doors, hardly catching Oliver Wilson's offhand remark of her being skittish. He didn't know the truth of it. Had someone told Shauna who exactly was out the door? Anyone at all, she would have fallen to her knees, thanked them, run around to the back door and driven away. Far away. She'd change her name, she'd start over. Maybe she'd go to America. She'd go anywhere else, and she'd happily spend the rest of her life running. She'd take it as a sign that her doubts, that her hate, that this awful shame she felt wasn't so wrong, and she'd have left. But she wasn't told. Shauna wasn't scared of Waupun. She screamed anyway. I'm glad you're being so professional about this.
I don't want to deal with it, but you're all proper looking. Sure, you might be lying, but if you look... Hang on. Is this the right guy?
Yep.
Okay. I don't want to deal with it, but you're all proper looking. Sure, you might be lying, but you look that primped. What does primped mean? I'll look it up later.
No, let's look it up now. Let's look it up now. We encourage a discovery.
We encourage grammar here.
You're putting this on our vocabulary wall.
Yes, our Grammarly. We're going to have a quiz at our 100th episode of all these words that we don't know.
Actually, that might be a good idea. So, the verb primp means spend time making minor adjustments to one hair or clothes. So basically, making you all nice and pretty.
Okay, so he's being misogynistic. Why don't you take this line?
No!
Okay, hang on. I'll start from the beginning. I don't want to deal with it, but you're all proper looking. Sure, you might be lying. But if you look that primped, I'm sure you got money from someone. Your journalists and writers make jack shit. You said we earlier. Who's paying for these pretty suits?
Did I? Good catch.
If I'm going to be honest, which I am, I'd appreciate the same courtesy.
I'm from Iron Industries. Would you prefer I call you Kenny or Maddie? Awful similar names.
Don't you people sell fridges, ovens, and shit like that?
Among other things. Answer, please.
Maddie's fine. What do you want to know?
All right. Let's start simply. Would you recount what happened on August 23rd, 1952?
I was with Penny. We were upstairs while Henry had...
Not dad to you?
I got a good home after, you know. Those are my folks. Not those fucking people. I wish, you know. Fucking put this on the record. I wish Penny got the help she needed. People like you ruined her life, constantly asking questions that she had no fucking clue how to answer. Shit home after
I apologize. I don't mean to make you upset. Just trying to understand.
Henry had come back from drinking. He was calling for my mother, and I thought she was asleep. I heard him scream in his bedroom, and when I opened, a is that I almost said amen.
Yeah. Yeah. Ahem.
Shauna wasn't ever found. Henry was in every. Oh God. Henry
Yeah.
was in every corner of the damn room. Fucking painted the walls. They found her blood there too. She certainly got cut to bits. No body though.
You called it his bedroom. Did Shauna not sleep with him?
I suppose I misspoke. They shared it, but I don't know. I guess all I think of that room now is him everywhere. I can't imagine her belonging there.
Shauna is an interesting woman.
How so? All I remember was her crying, being beat, and smoking. What about her is interesting? The fact she went missing? Poor woman, in truth. Wasn't ever made to mother. Some woman ain't.
There is wow, there's a bit I'm gonna censor later. Because that's wow. I'm speaking
Are
more
you sure? Are you sure you're gonna censor that, or are you gonna make it louder?
not yeah, but I will talk about it when we get there. Um, I'm speaking more of the allegations against her.
That she's a queer?
I would have put it more subtly. She was unfaithful. Yes, you saw her with.
I don't care who the hell you are. Okay. Well, actually, Bats, you take this paragraph. I sure as hell ain't touching it.
All right. Um, I don't care who the hell you are. Fucking black, brown, any damn color. Be a queer. I don't care. She wanted to stick her head down some fucking. Why should I have to talk about it? Ain't my business, ain't yours either. Did you ever witness such acts occur?
Damn, Bats. Not only are you misogynistic, you're getting racist and homophobic too?
I am a queer.
Wow, showing your true colors this episode.
Yeah.
This story's rough.
Yeah. But also he's accepting. I don't like how he's talking about indigenous women, but wow.
Yeah, sure, accepting.
I mean,
All
he's
right.
accepting about the fact he's like, listen, I don't care that you're queer, which like, yeah, that's good. But yeah, did you ever witness such acts occur?
No, all I know, fuck. Her folks sent her once to some fucking conversion camp, caught her with a girl, and moved their asses to New Brunswick. Now, I only know that because they told me, some 12 years back. I don't know if it. I don't know if that's what got her brain all fried, or if it was all the fucking pills she was taking. I read back in the day they used to shock them like electroshock.
Um, just as an aside, um, conversion therapy didn't get officially banned in Canada until 2022.
Oh, okay, so that's going on my Canadian list.
Yeah, it didn't. It's now banned, but the fact that it took until 2022, when everyone's like, oh, Canada's so great for queer people. Sure, we are better than some other countries. We made certain things legal before some others. Um, but also,
They
it
they
still depends
made
on where you are.
they made same sex marriage legal before conversion camps were illegal.
Yeah.
It's a little backwards.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to let us know that bit of history, especially during Pride Month.
Yeah, this is a crazy story to do on Pride Month.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It wasn't uncommon.
Fuck. Fucking brutal, ain't it?
Wampin made herself comfortable in Henry's lazy boy. Shauna felt the boredom pouring off of her like perfume. the only thing of interest being Shauna herself. How many days had she been knocking at the door the minute Henry left for work? Shauna hardly knew. The neighbors must have seen, but Shauna couldn't bring herself to care. Wappen would coil herself in the tree by her bedroom. Shauna saw her watching them. Wappen didn't pry. She let people talk and ask and beg themselves. No, Wappen liked to watch. She sat in her bomber jacket, leathery black skin lining the inside. Even in the house, she wore circular red glasses that hid her terrible eyes, her raven black hair splayed over her shoulder in a loose braid, with black leather pants and an awfully charming smile dancing over her brown face. Man, she's gorgeous. Shauna had told her to go, to leave, to never come back in her head, but every time she got the nerve to say it out loud, Wappen would look at her, and she became a teenager again. Sneaking her in the window, sneaking her out of it before Sunday church, driving miles in her beat-up red truck, and...
You've been vacuuming the same spot for 5 minutes. I'm sure it's clean, Shawnee. Don't.
She started. She stopped, her blue heels against the carpet as she crushed her cigarette in the ashtray before reaching to light another one. She let the vacuum clatter against the shaggy carpet.
You smoke so much better now. Should I thank your husband for that?
Her voice carried an old sort of tone, though she spoke like she was a rebellious young woman with her slang and garbage idle chatter. Looking at the pair of them now, Shauna was the strange older woman, and Wappen the young girl. She hadn't aged a day. Still an impossibly pretty temptation. God, if he was real, was a monster for sending her to Shauna again.
No, your little habits stuck with me. They didn't fry that part out of your brain?
Her arms raised in surrender, the bare sign of black showing from the top of her eyes over those red glasses. She leaned her head back, gesturing to the whole of the living room, with man-spreading legs in a casualness that didn't match the circumstances.
I mean, Shawnee, what in Christ kind of life is this? You said you'd come back. You said maybe 3 years. It's been 11. You aren't just a liar, but you're invasive here. How long is it going to take before someone notices you coming in here?
Wappen sighed like her made her sad.
I didn't mean for it to take so long. You gotta trust me, Dolly. Don't call me that. You shouldn't be here. If someone finds out, I can kill them. Kill those shitty kids you got. That one in your belly too. I could get this whole neighborhood if you want. I'll do it. You want privacy, Dolly? I can make it private.
Damn.
Pretty progressive for the 70s.
No, this is 50s.
Oh, yeah. Even more progressive for the 50s. Back when you had to call your gay lover your roommate.
Yeah. Fuck, Wappen, I'm in love with you, Wappen. Marry me, please. But keep my husband alive, please. She only took another drag, huffing her reply.
When they dragged me away, where were you? Huh? I kept waiting for you to burst in, and you just didn't come. I didn't know where you were. Oh, sorry, hang on, let me redo that. I didn't know where you were. Not like anyone there told me. Not after you got us caught. You told me then that you hated bloodshed and violence. Real peaceful of you. But I came back and I brought Shawnee. I didn't mean for you to end up like this. Like what? I'm happy. And I'm not wrong anymore. You couldn't give me this. You left, and Henry came back. He said he'd be back, and he came. That's more than you did. You don't get to look at me. You don't get to look down at me because I've changed. They fixed me. Okay.
Oh no, poor Shauna. Wappen stood up, bringing her long, soft fingers to Shauna's frazzled face.
You're prettier now.
Shauna blew the smoke from her cigarette to the side, staring at those red glasses.
You don't mean that. Henry says I'm a lot of things.
Wappen had an easy way of being. She never cared about God. Shauna, at the least, had his guilt laid into her heart and soul. A God as pure as he claimed wasn't real, but the drive to live up to his ways grew like a garden. It all rotted when she failed. Time and time again, she failed to live up to him. To him, to her parents, to Henry. Wappen told her once, with her legs wrapped between hers, that it took decades of living as the thing she was now before the ships brought their plagues and God to shore. Why should he matter to Wappen? Why should anything matter when you lived and breathed as long as she? Which, by the way, before the ships brought their plagues and God to shore, this tells me that she's been around since at least the 1600s when England and France first started colonizing Canada.
I will say that is a banging ass line.
It really is. So we have some sort of immortal indigenous woman. And she's been here since before all the white people.
Oof. Sorry. I went and liked the bottom of the post, and I have to go find where I was at. Okay, I found it.
Okay.
You don't mean that. Okay, we already been there. Henry doesn't matter. Yeah. Henry doesn't matter. He's a blip in your life. I can swear that. In a century, you'll be laughing with me about how silly this was.
Shauna didn't talk. She raised her brows, sucked in more smoke, not bothering to turn her head as it poured around them, and waited. Wappen's smile came, surprisingly shy, all things considered.
Who is this? Is this Shauna?
I think so.
I asked her. I had to beg, but it'll be worth it. I got permission. You can be like me. Wicked? Yeah, if that's how you think it is. I call it being happy.
Shauna took her cigarette out of her mouth and put it out on Wappen's exposed neck. Okay. Of course it didn't burn. Shauna could sink her teeth there, rip out flesh like a dog, claw her nails into every inch of skin, and Wappen would still just be as she is now. Shauna knew well that Wappen was this, and she was something other. Something hard for Shauna to comprehend, but something she knew was vile and unholy. She took a step back, looking to the floor, and coincidentally at the swelling in her stomach. That bulge, familiar and suited for her, which she hated so much. A chore. All she ever did was chores now.
What am I meant to do about this then?
Wappen gave her a sideways look.
You thought about it plenty, I'm sure.
Besides the questions of her faithfulness to Henry Gibson, some people speculate on her involvement in the murders. A crime of passion? She was supposed to be pregnant, but without a body.
I don't know. I was 5, all right? I said shit about shit. I saw that wasn't there. That's what you're asking me next, right?
Did Shauna ever try to hurt you?
She didn't seem to notice me much. I tried to get her attention, but I remember it wasn't too long before it all went down. I tumbled down the stairs real bad. Nothing broken, mind you. It just hurt. I come into the kitchen crying, she just stares at me. Not a short while either. Some 2 minutes go by with her all quiet like, staring at me. She just went right back to cooking afterwards.
So, she was neglectful.
Why does it matter? She's dead.
Do you know that?
Look, I don't remember all the details, thank the Lord, but it was bad. She wasn't there. No trace of her besides blood. I don't think whoever did that was kind enough to spare her.
Whoever?
You ain't serious.
Your initial testimony claimed you saw what did it. You said a monster came, killed, and left. You said it took your mother. You said you saw it. What is it? I'm waiting, Maddie. It hurt. Wappen had told her it would. Wappen had lied. She never said it would be agony. Wappen had long left by now. Her bloody hands and bloodier tongue clouded Shauna's mind. Shauna hardly made it to the bathroom when the worst of it came. An unbearable tightness, punches coming from inside her, like it didn't want to leave. Wappen hadn't gotten it out. It hurt too much. It was passing her. in little chunks of half-formed, clotty flesh. Oh, there we are. There's the miscarriage. Wait! Bloody hands and bloodier tongue. Oh. Oh. I think she put her tongue in it. Oh my god.
I was gonna make a joke. It's not time for jokes.
Little hands. Or sorry. Yeah, no, I said that right. Fuck. Okay, yeah. I'm a little shocked right now. Little hands, little feet. Shauna never wanted it. Shauna hated them. The longer she thought of it, her house was a cage for a pretty bird. Kenny had been quiet. Penny cried. Why? God, why did that girl never cease? It didn't matter if Shauna fed her from her breast or the bottle. It didn't matter what diapers or baby powder she used. It didn't matter where she slept. The crying rang in her ears as an ever-ringing, never-quiet alarm. How could she sleep or think or love the little shit when all it ever did was cry? If Shauna could walk, she would have shut her up. But she couldn't. It wasn't out yet. Her head lay on the toilet seat, not caring that her blood smeared along her cheek. She tried to sit properly, to get it out cleanly. Whoppin'. Shauna eyed the bed frame, seeing her claw marks. There was a sliver of wood stabbing its way under her fingernail, pressing it above and out of her skin. If she tugged it hard enough, it would rip itself, and a layer of skin clean off. Would that make the swelling between her legs hurt less? Her back and hips throbbed the way her feet would when she stood too long. It didn't matter how she lay. The bones seemed to grind together, rubbing into her too tight skin. The baby wasn't in her womb any longer. Not all of it, anyway. But her stomach still swelled like a water balloon. Clots of red mush dotted the tile floor and the carpet from her bed, which looked... It felt like labor. She never felt it with Kenny or Penny. That motherly love that she was meant to hold alongside the baby. Her fingers clung to the porcelain seat as the cramping started again. A chill ran up her sweat-soaked back, and the noises that left her, they weren't sounds someone strong made. She chose this. So why did it bring her nothing but brutal, blood-soaked torment? Her inside stretched slowly, so slowly that her vision became hazy. Her breaths were quick, high-pitched whimpers, and didn't stop until a gushy slap slid from her. Oh! Slipping just an inch on the white tiles. She could hear the scriptures then. What would Dr. Foran think of her now? The place they took her to had white walls. White walls, white floors, white beds, and white doors, and it was too pale to make sense of. The only other color she saw were the brown straps they'd tie around her belly. Empty then. Her arms and legs and they'd forced it in her mouth. Excuse me, what were they? What? I'm hoping it's a gag. I'm hoping it's a gag and not the other what?
What do you have us reading?
Top, what are we doing? I'm loving this, but also what? They had a clock in the bathroom, but Shauna was far too tired to look for the time. She stayed still as stone. She couldn't move. Moving would make it real. If Wappen left again, Wappen would leave again. Shauna had to know that by now. She came back for her, and as much as Shauna wished, what if she left? Shauna would have killed. She didn't know it would hurt so much. If she had known it would hurt so much, all of that, she would never have spoken to Wappen. She would have stayed in her childhood bedroom, stayed a good Catholic, married a kinder man. Maybe she'd be a proper woman, and God wouldn't seek to punish her for all her wrongness.
Oh, Shauna.
The doctors never yelled her name. They never told her kind words when they pinned the tabs against her temple, and they never apologized for how they made her skull rattle, her brain tremble. They never apologized. Shauna lifted her eyes to see a fury-faced but clearly shocked Henry. He never apologized either when he shook her the way he liked or when...
I'm sorry. I'm so Henry. I.
She didn't even want it. So why was she crying? Her hand slid into the blood, shifting in the saddest way she could. Her knees slid against the blood, causing her crawls to be shifty as at best, but she managed to get her hand close enough to brush the fabric of his leg. She didn't even want him. So why did it hurt when he pulled away? For a pathetic moment, Shauna thought this would fix her. He'd kneel alongside her, accept the utter depravity of her shame and hold her. Thought of another's touch feeling warm was the sweetest dream Shauna held. But then he spoke.
Why haven't you cleaned this up? Get the fuck out.
Maddie, if I must...
What are you looking for? I don't know. I was 5. And that has nothing to do with me anymore. Nothing. Get the fuck out of here.
Your sister said something similar.
What?
When we interviewed her some years back. We weren't expecting as much from her, as she was still an infant during the whole occurrence. Still, family photos, story from her kin, and the like. She got much more from them than you did, considering she's the one they wanted custody of. Did it bother you, Maddie? That your grandparents, both sets at that, thought you were too much of a freak to keep around her? A liar at that. You said a monster crawled into your room, and that's what woke you up. I see you had behavioral issues afterwards, a history of substance abuse similar to your sister. And of course, your army didn't do any wonders for your psyche. Your sister thought you joined the army just so you could see the blood again, to the level you did as a child. They had to move because of what you'd say, your poor grandparents. The night terrors, the sleepwalking, the incidents with animals. Now, I can let the media get their hands on all of this. The little Gibson boy who cried wolf turned into a disturbed, possibly psychotic individual. If I made your sister's testimony public with all the madness she was spouting, it would bring revenue at least. Or you can answer my question. What did you see? Georgia, what are you doing? Wow. Waupun liked to watch. Henry dressed in a suit, all put together and well crafted, sure. But the man looked like he was expecting something terrible inside. That silver smile that danced over her face was mocking, and perhaps a warning if he had seen it. That he had no idea who was waiting for him. Waupun had tried to make dinner to feed Shauna's son. Kyle? Didn't matter to Waupun, of course. If she had her way, then the boy would be in her belly. She told him a few stories that seemed to settle him enough to go to bed. How to skin a deer, the sand hills and the spirits who walked there, and how she met his mother. He'd eaten the beef she'd found in the fridge alongside her, but she supposed seeing raw meat splattered over his kitchen counters was a shock to Henry, based on his scream. Real heavy footsteps came storming up the stairs. He'd yelled like that a few times since Waupun became lurking. She could see why Shauna would be scared. Waupun looked over her shoulder to see the writhing mess of claws, meat, torn skin and bones that Shauna was. She didn't look scared then. It had taken just under an hour to do it. Shauna hadn't made removing the teeth easy, but Waupun kept her down and got them out. Oh no! They were scattered now, some on the floor, one that Waupun decided should be a keepsake, and the rest in her stomach. She liked the crunch of it all, though they tasted rotten. When Waupun began tugging her own out, Shauna must have felt scared. Still, the cramming of the new teeth was made all the easier when Shauna stopped her whining. When Henry burst through the door, the handle slammed into the wall. Waupun rolled her shoulders back as he spoke to her, ignoring what he said to stare out the window. No one was walking by, and she hoped the neighbors were the sort that kept quiet. She heard his quiet murmurs, the bloodstains that had only gotten worse since yesterday, and the squish of a pretty blue eye under his foot seemed to startle him quiet.
Shawnee, you think you'd want...
Crunch! That was quick. Henry lived to hear screams. That was Waupin's theory anyway. Waupin doubted he'd ever felt so scared. The pleading tone of his screaming sent a rush through her. The feeling of tearing skin apart to the meaty red delights inside was beyond mouth-watering. It could be coarse, soft, or hairy, but it tasted all the same. She saw Shauna's jaw, a pale white shine of skull, tearing through the dip of his breasts, while his hands tore and slammed into her in the ground, trying to pull her by the tufts of the falling skin he could grip. He failed, of course. The lungs were an interesting choice to gobble down first, but Wappen didn't judge. It was her first time, so why not let her have fun? The screaming got more desperate, shrieking like a wounded animal. The noises he was making weren't quite human. His eyes were practically bulging out of his skull as Shauna slurped his insides down her throat, giving it a sloshy bulge of blood and meat. Okay. So Shauna didn't die. I think they might be a certain creature that starts with W that I do not feel comfortable saying, especially not this far north.
Women?
No. The creature in indigenous mythology that...
I know.
Okay, good.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, if you say it, you technically summon it. Wappen had felt bad. She didn't want to leave Shauna yesterday. If she just let her tongue slide a bit further, she could have wrapped around and tugged it like a ball and chain. But it hurt. Hurt? Shauna knew what hurt meant now, and Wappen didn't doubt that they'd laugh about it. It would be nice to see Shawnee laugh. She wasn't laughing now, but making a gargling sound with the skinless chatter of her jaw. Her thin, blood-drenched fingers continued to dip and dig inside the cave that was now hardly moving chest. Henry was twitching, his eyes hardly on Shauna now. He stared at Wappen. Henry didn't have regret in his eyes, not even in the face of death. She lowered her glasses. The last expression on Henry Gibson's face was beyond terror. Was being the key word before Shauna's fingers dipped in and that started tugging. 2 fingers in each eye, trying to pull it apart. It took some effort. Wappen saw that clear as day, but the satisfying snap brought the silver smile back to her ancient, unaging face. Maddie? Well, I'd say it's nice to meet you, Marie, but it isn't nice. You can put the gun down. I'll be on my way.
Why are you asking me all this? Why? Be honest.
Because it's my job. That's all this is to me, Maddie. I don't have a grudge or a need for the truth. You called me a journalist, but that's incorrect. I'm just collecting data. Oh, and Maddie?
Yes?
You should really change that sign out front. It's gaudy. So, that is the end. Help? What?
Lesbians, am I right?
Yeah. Lesbians are wild. Who is this intimidating woman that's been interrogating Maddie?
I think it's, Wappen.
Definitely could be. Or someone who is part of their group.
Or it's a monster hunter.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay, so we just took a quick little break, and on the break I was like, hey, who's Georgia? What is she doing? I know she's the interviewer, what's going on? And Top just responded with, she's from Iron Industries. She's just collecting data. Don't worry about it. That's ominous.
Right.
We might
Thanks, Top.
we might have some spooky stuff in the future.
Well, how old is this story?
Tar in the Soul is 12 days ago.
Oh, so it could be in the future. I was going to say, if it was a couple months ago, it could be, already, something could already be out for it.
Yeah. And this one, 9 days ago, our final story for the day. Hell's Tip, my husband and I. And before I go into this last story, once again, happy belated birthday, Top. We love you so much. Bitch!
No, I guess I have my heart. I guess I have room in my heart for 2 Canadians.
Good, good. Aw, so I'm already in your heart.
Yeah.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah.
So let's get a quick look at this. Whoop. Borealis, Hell's Tip, turn back. You'll never find a better view. You'll never find a finer view. That is such a nice cover.
It's done by Bear.
Bear, our goat. We love Bear. We are definitely going to have an episode of him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, especially with his story playthings.
Yeah, although I heard him and Colin being the guy that had the box dad in the box episode, they're cooking up something real good for a collab episode.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, so art by Bear/Affectionate Leave 677. Big thank you to him.
Yes.
Are we ready for the final story today?
I am ready.
All right. Hell's Tip wasn't an awful place to live, despite the name. I've never left. Most people haven't. So I don't have a comparison for you. We're just a typical, boring, quiet, isolated mountain town, burrowed between the Rockies and the Boreal Forest. I think that's where Mayor Gibson got the new name from, Borealis. Wait, Gibson?! Brother! I don't know when this is. I don't know when this is. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe that's why Top was like, don't worry about it. Yeah, so Mayor Gibson got the new name from Borealis. Not that anyone calls it that. The rumor's always been that the top of the mountain is the tip of hell, and that it only got worse the further you headed down. But, like I said, it really isn't that terrible. With the right person, you just know everything will be fine. Doesn't mean I love it, though. Everything went to shit when I got married. More shit than it already was. I could complain about my husband, but he's somehow the best part of this mess. Pat had given me a sharp grunt when Mr. Canary drove his Mazda into the lot again. He never came inside, but it creeped Pat out. I'm not sure what he and Pat spoke about, but Pat told me to take a break outside before lumbering to his office with Mandy. How do you prepare for the most uncomfortable conversation of your life? The falling rain thankfully paused when I opened Pat's back door. Mr. Connery was soaking wet. He could have just waited in his car. A few steps from me, he was drenched in morning black, with wide red eyes and a desperate look on his frowning face. I kept close to the knob so I could run inside when needed. The smell of rotting food and meat in the dumpster made my toes curl. Girl loves the rot, I swear.
Yeah, she might be a ghoul.
Yeah, she might be a ghoul. We will check back. Might make that the Halloween costume for Top, because I will make everyone Halloween costumes. Those wide red eyes locked onto my stomach the moment I stepped outside, before I kicked down the doorstop. He wasn't even trying to hide his shame. Like a dog with a bloodied muzzle. I tried not to think of Mr. Connery. I wanted to keep thinking of him as my teacher. But that wasn't everything. That hardly scratched the surface of how we knew each other. He knew how bad things were, and he had tried to make them nicer then. He'd let me stay in his room all lunch. He gave me those cheap little stickers from the dollar store for no reason at all. I thought it was nice, having an older friend. I was completely aimless before Mr. Connery. He cared about me. I ended up back at Pat's, letting him torment me day after day as his only waitstaff. So a lot of good Mr. Canary's care did for me. I tried going back to Butcher's, But the rumor spread fast, so I cringed up to Pat's, begging the man for my job, which he'd been handling himself. That hadn't gone well. Pat changed my schedule, though, and the 6-day work week was crushing me long before Mr. Connery had shown up.
Miss Park, I think we're past that, Donald.
He was handsome. Loose brown hair. Far different to the slick-back style his father and older brother had. They died in an accident some 2 years back, stupid enough to drive up the mountain. He had blue eyes, maybe closer to gray, but the night sky made it hard to be sure. The street light flickered behind him, lighting only the lids of his eyes and his forehead. He was dressed nicely. At least I'd give him that. A thick black turtleneck and long black dress pants. However, my focus was on the cross dangling round his neck, and how thin he was. Tall and gaunt, like he'd been stretched apart by cruel hands, pulled taut and painfully long.
Love it.
He said with a forced breath.
Your mother keeps coming by, calling me names and whatnot. She brings her friends and they tell there's Donald. How much did you tell him? She's assumed enough. Not the whole of it. Are you? I'm fine. Pat's let me shower in the back rooms. The back rooms?
I was gonna say that.
Pat's letting me shower in the back rooms here. And the car's got heated seats, so I'm comfy. Have I mixed up the...
Okay, so I think... Shit, hang on. Calling me names and whatnot. Donald, how much did you tell them?
Okay, I did mix up the lines a little bit there. Hang on.
Okay.
Your mother keeps coming by, calling me names and whatnot. She brings her friends and they tell there's Donald. How much did you tell them? She assumed enough. Not the whole of it. Are you? I'm fine. Pat's letting me shower in the back rooms here, and the car's got heated seats, so I'm comfy. Don't lie to me, love it.
Mr. Connery wasn't like most men I knew. He was cautious. Everyone in Borealis seemed to think we were safe, so long as the trees kept us hidden and we stayed put. No one ever really left. I'm sure they tried, but people were always moving back. Mr. Connery went to a fancy university in Ontario. Hey, Ontario mention! Had a fiancé and a whole life waiting. Then he moved back. He never told me why, but it's a good thing he did. Connery's handled all the weddings since Hell's Tip was founded. Someone had to.
I'm fine. If I needed something, I'd talk to my parents or Pat or you. Do you need anything? Does the
But Mr. Connery had a hard time saying things he didn't want to say. I was almost surprised Freddy didn't pop out from the wall to get a better look, as I was sure he would listen in.
baby? She's good. She's an eggplant now. Size-wise, Mandy has been really smart with that stuff. Pat too, surprisingly. He's making me a crib, so it saves me money. Dally, so we're good.
Mr. Connery didn't talk for a while. I didn't stop looking at him, and he didn't stop looking at me. His stare was on my face now. I wasn't real pretty before, but being pregnant made me swell everywhere I hated. My stomach was the worst. A big, tight ball of taut, stretching skin that made every step I took a wobble. But everything weighed too much and felt too big for my frame. My arms and legs had grown too. Even my face was puffy. I wasn't skinny before, but I felt like he was measuring me. I crossed my arms to hide my breasts the best I could before speaking.
Is this what you wanted? Just to come here and gawk?
I asked.
No!
I hated when he talked like that. Like it was me who did something super fucked up.
Then why are you here, Donald? I'm already dealing with a lot. I get that this is your super sick way of trying to help, or are you worried I'm gonna say something? I won't tell, I promise. Oh, hang on, I know what's going on here. Top, we need to talk about your subjects that you make stories. Your stories are great. Your stories are wonderful. Do you need help? Is there something we can do?
He shook his head, a silent, sobbing tremble crossing his wide lips. That was the only flaw he had. Every time his lips moved, I'd think of a sausage getting cooked in the microwave till it began to burst. No one ever busted his mouth, though he deserved it. But it looked a little like raw meat, molded to resemble a smile, but not quite hitting the mark.
I don't want you to sleep in your car, love it. I apologize for some of I know you wouldn't understand, but the whole town thinks I'm a whore. Language.
I hated how fast my face burnt up.
Fuck you. Fuck you. This is you can't just show up. I take my part in this matter. We've tried to deal with this quietly, but you decide to let that abomination, that thing, and if you're going to shelter it, her. She's just a baby. She doesn't deserve you hating her. She doesn't deserve anyone hating her. Deanna didn't. She's normal. She's fine. And it's going to be fine. I don't need you or anyone else because I know it'll all sort itself out. You named it. Why would I not? You shouldn't be getting attached. You aren't going to be keeping. Yes, I am.
Pat's was right by the tree line. Mr. Connery looked back and stared into the woods. I can't blame him. I always feel watched out here. His next words were carefully quiet, near a whisper. He started taking these slow steps closer, hands outstretched like they were gesturing to a woman's figure, the light stretching up his face in flickers of buzzing yellow.
I think you're too young. I'm older than I was. Love it. You don't have a home. You have a terrible, laborious job that you can't hold while caring for an infant. Your parents aren't going to help. You're alone. You know that. Where are you going to live? Not in your fucking car. Things gonna Nothing's gonna sort itself out because you've made such a shitty mess of things. You are really this stupid. I'm not alone.
I corrected him. It took a moment for his face to drop. Mr. Connery had the nerve to look angry, betrayed, like I'd done something wrong. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. The wind roared, a dangerous thing, a loud wash of waves crashing into our ears. He stumbled, but it made me feel steady. Steady enough to turn to the door, ready to slink inside.
How many lives do you intend to ruin?
Buddy? I think you did that yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah. You were her teacher, you nasty fuck.
Or at least I'm thinking he was.
Yeah.
If we misread that, correct us in the comments, please. I turned back around, and while the wind only picked up at that, wind chimes hanging round the rims of Pat's roof and went crazed, the wild growth of birch and evergreens that circled Hell's Tip like a green-trimmed cage bellowed in protest. I didn't want to make anything worse for anyone. I had every right to hate them all, damn them all, but I didn't. Having compassion for those less aware was another unspoken rule, and I can't blame anyone for not getting it. My head spun back, gripping the doorknob for something solid, solid enough to hold me up before I came crumbling to the ground. It still hurts that he thought me so callous. He said something else, but I couldn't hear over the violent crashing of the wind. I could see the window shutters banging against the glass, wrappers and trash flying like birds. Something in me agreed with him. He'd been dancing around the truth of the matter, and maybe if I had the guts to say my 2 cents properly, he'd see Sienna the way I saw her. But the wind was too loud, all but screaming in my ears. I don't know if Mr. Connery heard my warning, but I hope he did.
Be careful. You wouldn't want anyone getting the wrong idea, Donald.
I'd see him again. I knew I would. I knew that if he manned up enough to see me and all the shame I brought, then he'd do it again. Messing up his first bride this badly was a stain on the Connery family. Said bride, walking around pregnant, was dousing the family in flames. My back hit the cold metal, one hand holding the wall. Dally told me that I could probably just stay in the store overnight. I'd have to ask Pat. I feel like Mr. Connery tried to marry her? I don't know.
Yeah. I think once he learned that he got her pregnant, he was trying, and that's why he's calling it abomination, because it's a bastard child.
Yeah. Shout out to all the bastards watching. I am one.
I appreciate that shout out. Thank you.
Oh my god, you too?
Yeah.
Awesome. Just a couple of bastards. Happy Father's Day, by the way. It's Father's Day when we're recording this.
Yeah, it is Father's Day. Wow, we've dealt with some real shitty fathers on Father's Day today.
Yeah.
In these stories.
I locked the back door, brushing the marker trails. 12 times over, I'd written my name over the years, but beneath them were big blobs of partially washed Sharpie, giving the door 12 streaky black dots. Mandy would make me scrub the art underneath, calling it trashy. I hoped Mr. Connery would leave and trek down towards Pat's office. Mandy's scrunchie was on his door. A red sparkling band Mandy had no use carrying around with her fried blonde hair. It looked tacky, but Mandy wasn't the type to care about anybody, period. There wasn't a chance in hell I'd be putting my ear to the door, and I wasn't looking to interrupt their weird old folk sex. I turned, hand trailing over the... Good for them. I turned, hand trailing over the peeling yellow wallpaper that revealed the older white walls beneath. Oh, yellow wallpaper mention.
Yeah.
And again, the color yellow.
And she mentioned the back rooms earlier. It's actually all stories meant for the back rooms.
Yeah. Pat's used to be a gym. Back when Pat was a young, fit guy. That lasted for about 3 years before he realized that no one in Hell's Tip wanted a gym, and that he'd sunk his folks' money into a never-born business. He skipped town for a few years before moving back a bitter alcoholic, sold all the old equipment, and turned Pat's into one of 2 diners in town. It's the worst of the 2. Pat wasn't an awful cook. Gross guy, but not bad. Dally was better. Dally made my stomach turn, both from, well, everything about him mixed with the cruel question plaguing me. Why would someone like Dally tolerate me? I can't even call us friends, because it just sounds wrong. Dally was older than me by 4 years, but he and his folks hadn't moved to town until after my wedding. Okay, so she did marry Mr. Connery.
Mm-hmm.
Hell's Tip's old motto was, "Turn back now." Nice enough warning to any would-be tourist to get the hell out of the woods. The motto has changed alongside the town name. You'll never find a finer view. I always thought it creepy, like our sign was going to trap those tourists inside. But Dally's dad was charmed one summer. Who knows why? And while I didn't know the exacts, I didn't know lots about Dally at all. I knocked on the kitchen's entrance, seeing his broad back hunched over the fryer. Dally didn't like most people, and he clearly disliked Hell's Tip. Dally was old enough to have stayed in Victoria, British Columbia, mind you, but he came with his dad and siblings and complained about coming. A lot. He would have liked the gym, which I think is why Pat hired him. Dally basically did all the cooking himself now, making me question what the hell Pat did all day. Dally's hairnet kept his messy brown coils bundled up while he gave me a look over.
So, how much fun did you have? Oh, with Mr. Connery? Well, once he got the giant stick out of his ass, language. God, we are in a workplace, lovey.
I knew there was no way I'd ever have a chance. That some part of him was only talking to me out of pity. If he had any idea how much of a freak I was, I'm sure he wouldn't be calling me Lovey. That little nickname has me forgiving him every time he's an asshole. And sure, I do think about him all the time. More than I should, of course. I knew it was silly. I'm married anyway. But he made work something to look forward to. Made me feel like a girl.
Did you lock up?
I asked, leaning against one of the aluminum countertops that encircled the kitchen.
There's 10 minutes until that clock says 12, and I'm not even allowed to touch them until 11:59. Yes, but Pat's with Mandy right now, and I'm pretty sure they aren't checking the cameras.
Dally was handsome, with thick, dark coils, dark brown skin covered in brown hair, a well trimmed beard lining his face, and a voice as clear as rain. He was surprisingly funny, but a little prissy if you pushed him the right way. I knew part of him hated being around all the hicks in town. Another unwritten rule. If you weren't born here, you don't belong here. Dally missed the ocean, his actual friends, and not working this terrible job. He tried applying at the Sorenson's place, the other, nicer diner not so close to the tree line, but they didn't like the look of him.
Why wouldn't they be checking the cameras?
He asked, his head tilting to the side in genuine confusion.
I'll give you 3 guesses. Oh, gross shit. Gross. Seriously? You don't even know. Eventually, Rex. Oh, Rex is Mandy's ex. That's what makes it easy to remember. He'll show up at some point begging Mandy for another chance. And then we'll get to watch him and Pat wrestle around. It's fun. Terrible name. I'm guessing Pat is a good sport.
He smiled at the grill top, handing me a plate of fries. I would eat them, but I only really wanted the burger. They were the only things I could keep down during the first few months, and now it'd become a bad habit. Still, I grabbed the ketchup off the counter, smacked the top till a smack of ketchup plopped down, and started eating.
No, he is not.
I sighed, watching the meat sizzle on the grill, cooking and cooking until the raw patty fizzled into a greasy brown slab of meat. Dally didn't take substitutions because he was a real chef, and I didn't have the nerve to tell him that everything besides the patty wasn't necessary. But that would have freaked him out. Dally made a big show of squeezing the burger together. He passed it to me before taking a glance at my stomach.
Is it like a weird feeling?
He asks me, turning back to the grill. He just stared at the grease sizzling there. I set the hot plate on my lap, hoping I didn't spill on my uniform. A vaguely 50s style dress, right down to the ruffled purple skirt with the poodle sewn along the hem. Only us girls and Freddie wore the purple uniforms, which Freddie found unmasculine. Pat sent him out round noon to wipe off some graffiti written on the side of Pat's. Douchebag wasn't the most creative, but Pat sure was pissed. Freddie was too. He'd have a pileup of dishes to do. He'd normally have found me by now, or Dally. Maybe he was with Pat and Mandy. Not like that.
What do you mean not like that?
Oh yeah, maybe he's hanging out with Pat and Mandy. That's what she means. But maybe he was with Pat and Mandy, not like that. Like, insinuating threesome.
Yeah, like that, all that wrinkled skin together.
Just because the wrapper is wrinkled doesn't mean the candy's not still sweet.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah. Anyways,
Lovey. Lovey.
I thought about it. Sienna wasn't an invasive baby. She didn't kick, not once. Maybe that was cause for concern, but I think she just doesn't want to hurt me. I don't know her because she hasn't left me yet, but she seems smart already. Quiet. Sienna isn't the problem. It's what she's causing. I don't like him staring at my stomach. Better than my face, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, but you get used to it. It's like I'm always carrying around a bowling ball, but it's all wrapped in skin and inside me. But the bowling ball, also jiggly? I mean, it's hard on the outside, but it's so soft and squishy. Does that make sense? So it's gross? Well, no. You made it sound gross. Whatever. You wouldn't know.
I bit into it and wished it was what I wanted. I smiled as a little trail of grease came down my chin, nodding as I chewed. It was like rubbing my tongue with a dry sponge. Not that I said anything. It was the only thing Sienna could keep down, which was concerning. The window shutter slammed again. This isn't what I wanted.
What's the matter with this place? It was snowing yesterday, and now it's a tornado? We don't really get those here.
He scoffed, stormed up to the foggy, rain-covered pane before throwing his head back in a whine.
I cannot drive home in this cell. I'm going to sleep in that hell if Pat doesn't stop screwing Mandy.
He only gave a half smile at that, turning back around. I gestured to the half-eating burger in my hand, now drenched in globby red ketchup. It made it easier to swallow. The meat was fine, though his seasons didn't really register. It wasn't good enough. Not that I would ever say that to him.
It's good.
I lied.
When I leave this place, I won't let people ruin my food. No subs, no extra sauce, just good food.
I felt bad for Dally. He'd been here some 4 months already, and every day he'd bring up leaving, to go back home. I could have pulled at the thread, asked why he bothered moving out here anyway, if he hated us hicks in our home so bad. I just kept chewing.
You know, if you're gonna leave, you gotta do it soon, before the mountains take a liking to you.
Dally really didn't care that I was pregnant. He punched me on the arm and it hurt. I knew it was a joke and he didn't mean it to actually hurt, and that if I said something, it would ruin the moment. I almost dropped the burger, but my nails dug through the bun and into the still hot beef. It trailed down my finger and it burnt, but I kept my grip tight.
Hang on. And don't tell me you're crazy about this shit, too. I thought you were normal.
It was a joke.
Just because everyone hates... Oh, hang on. Was that her or him?
So Dally saying, don't tell me you're crazy about this shit too.
Okay. That's what I thought. Just because everyone hates me doesn't mean I suddenly renounce our beliefs.
I took another bite, letting it slide down my throat barely chewed, focusing instead on Dally's thinking face. He was staring out the window, up at the mountain. The wind brushed against the glass in a smoke-like scream. The trees being slammed down to the ground like they were nothing. How the skies became more vivid. If I stared through the window long enough, the sky pulsed up and down like shallow breaths.
Well, you and your cult can take the mountain that I'm not staying. It creeps me out.
That's what Hell's Tip is named for. We do a bunch of shit up. Oh, shit! Fuck!
Out here stealing my job, being misogynistic, homophobic, racist. You're on one today. I will say that.
My bad.
That's what Hell's Tip is named for. We do a bunch of shit up here. Like what?
I paused.
Have you seen Freddy? He should have been done by now. Don't change the subject. You can't just say, I'll go up the mountain. Is this a cult? You'd tell me if you were in a cult, wouldn't you?
It was hard to meet his eyes. I stared down at the burger when I spoke. Made it easier.
Well, I mean, everyone works with lumber here. We get picked up by iron industry, most of our young guys, actually. A lot to trek in the woods, and I don't know, skin the trees. Maybe Dad worked with them till he was 30, so mainly that. We used to have these mining festivals. We get married up top. Like, is it a townway? All the weddings have to do... all the weddings have to... Do you all hike up there? God, this place is a hellhole.
His face turned into that weirdly narrow, tight-lipped expression of disgust. He gave another glance at my stomach. The kitchen's heat and the smell of grease broiling poured through my nose.
I mean...
How do you explain something like this to someone who couldn't get it?
Do you know where Freddy is? This is her. Do you know where Freddy is? He should have been back by now. Why do you care? Freddy's a freak. He sniffed your locker, Lovey. I smell good. Why are you getting weird about this? I'm not getting weird. I just don't have to talk about everything all the time. Why don't you tell me about the ocean again? I like when you do. If it's a sensitive subject, why does everything, why does it have to be anything? Whatever. Talk about something else.
Dally didn't say nothing. I'd almost finished the burger, and if Dally wasn't trying so hard to pretend he wasn't pissy, I'd have told him it was time to lock up. I wiped the sauce from my cheeks, setting the plate down on the counter beside me. The vague scent of fake lemons was shockingly invasive. Pat's cheap knockoff Lysol wipes gave everybody rashes all up their arms. It's why we never clean. Which probably does not help Pat's reputation of being a shithole diner.
It's a stupid ceremony. It's meant to bring good luck. I'm so tired of that. People asking me shit, or telling me how I'm doing everything wrong, or how much of an idiot I am. It sucks.
He bit down on his cheeks. I could see he was clenching his jaw hard. He reached around, trying his best to not invade my space. I didn't mind his arm that close to mine, but I stuck my eyes to the floor anyway. My stomach was in the way. I couldn't even see my shoes because of her.
I take it Mr. Connery was weird again. It's not my fault. It's not just my fault, but they all act like I'm this huge failure. I was lazy before my conception. I had no plans for after school. I mean, I feel like I just at some point a million years ago. But now I just want to I'm just gonna be a good mom. That's what I want to do. And it's it's not dumb. I just hate how everyone judges me. I mean, if I had got an abortion, don't you think people would still screech at me? I would go, I would leave if I could, because maybe we'd be better out there, but I can't leave. You can try to convince me, but I'm telling you, I'm never leaving here. I know that. I mean, we don't even have a hospital. Where am I meant to deal with this? What more does he want from me? I'm I'm a good person. I've listened to everything he asked, even when I knew it was awful. I have to accept that this is all I'm meant for, and I don't want to do that. And the last thing I need is Donald showing up, trying to take responsibility for her, as if I want him anywhere near me.
He frowned, gave me a look over, and brought a nasty, stupid look onto his face.
I didn't need your whole life story, Christ. Sorry, I'm just pent up. Oh, really? I had no clue. I mean, God, you are a good actor. I thought you were super relaxed, actually. I'm embarrassed, okay? Oh, what for? That was really normal, like, seriously. Please shut up.
I knew he was joking with me, but it still hurt. I hoped he was joking, anyway.
Sorry, the dog's in my face.
All good. Send a picture of Wiener Man. And
Wiener dog.
what type of dog
We took her.
is she actually?
She's a pity.
Ah, there we go. But yeah,
We took her to.
send a pic.
We took her to the beach for the first time yesterday.
If you can, send beach pictures, and I will put it up in the edit.
She was terrible.
Oh, poor baby.
She was just too excited, and it was like we gave her a whole mountain of crack before we went to the beach. She was all over the place. There you go. Beach pics.
Yay!
Is this her or him talking? I think this is her.
No,
I'm
that's
going
him.
to. That's him.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you something. I'm going to ask something, and I hope it doesn't make you upset. More upset than you must be.
I waited for him to go on.
Mr. Connery, my sister goes to your old school. He still teaches? Yeah.
Dally frowned, then glared.
So he knocks up a student and nobody does shit? What's wrong with this place?
I could have corrected him, but he and his folks were the only ones in town who hadn't seen my wedding. Lying was wrong. I knew that. Good people don't lie, but I'm selfish. Is it wrong to want to be normal, at least to him? I sighed.
Have you seen Freddy at all? Freddy? Yeah, at noon. Wasn't he outside with you?
Dally moved away from me. He tossed the dirty plates into the sink before placing his hands on his hips and calling out for Freddy. No response.
Shit, I'm going to check outside. You just wait here. I don't want you walking in this wind.
I hadn't noticed that the wooden shutters outside had stopped their banging. I should have felt a sense of relief that my car wouldn't be getting swept up in a storm, but I haven't even noticed. The howling had gone on, and now it stopped. Freddy wasn't that dumb, was he? I told him to keep out. I told everyone to keep out. Freddy wanted to leave. Why would anyone listen to reason when escape was just a hike away? I stood straight and moved past Allie. The light in the hall flickered, and my shoes clicked softly on the tiled floor. The loose black and white tiles that covered the whole restaurant shifted beneath my feet. Yellow paper mixed with flickering fluorescence gave the walk down the hall a sickly yellow hue. Dally would follow me in bursts, waiting until I was about to turn before catching up to me. I expected something when I stepped outside, but everything was quiet. I didn't hear any scrubbing or any breathing from Freddy, but I heard nothing else either. The wind chimes weren't echoing. The trees weren't shaking. Everything was alarmingly quiet. Too quiet. I heard a hint of protest from Dally, but raised my hand.
Dally, did Freddy ever mention going up the mountain? What's happening here, lovey? I want you to lock up while I go look for Freddy.
He scoffed, trying to shove past me. He really didn't think it through, considering the back door was narrow, and I was, well, not. Dally gave it 3 tries at maneuvering between my sides and the doorframe before huffing in protest.
He always talks about it, but there's not a chance in hell He always talks about it, but there's not a chance in hell I'm letting you walk out there alone. I'll be fine. It's Freddy I'm worried about. He knows better. You're gonna lock up, you're gonna get pat, and you're gonna stay quiet.
He tried to say something else.
Shut up. I'll be quick. I can't let a pregnant... Nothing's gonna hurt me. See you Monday, Dally.
If he said something else I didn't hear. The door rattled shut behind me, but the click of the lock never came. Stupid Dally. The night sky was black as ink and empty of stars and clouds. The moon was blackened too, its cycle coming to a close. I could see puddles from the rain earlier, and little rings pulsing like breaths within, but no droplets to cause them. My hand reached for the sky, and nothing fell. The parking lot had an old red truck long abandoned in the furthest corner. Pat's somehow worse truck that ran by the grace of God. Dally's bicycle, my beat-up blue Pontiac streaked with an obscene tagging, and Mandy's Harley chipped from years of tipping from a poor kickstand. No one else. Mr. Connery had left. Mandy's a biker? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and now she's getting railed by Pat.
Hell yeah, man. I love the somehow worse truck that ran by the grace of God. I love it. Freddy's car, a black Honda he insisted on parking far away from the dumpster, was still there. I expected to see him giving me a slow wave or offering me another of his incredibly inappropriate rides, but the front seat was empty. I tried looking harder, but the streetlights shut off. The bowling alley's neon sign that twirled 24 hours had shut off, as had all their windows. I could barely see them in the dark, but every step I took painted the distant shapes of town buildings in a fresh coat of night. Streetlights weren't working, and the cluster of homes grouped together for safety were all dark. Only Pat's still had its lights on. No sound, no light, no Freddy. The tree line before me was the quickest way up the mountain. I'd been carried here once, drenched in all things white. It was a rainy day, too, which my ma took for a warning sign. Mr. Connery said it was the sign of fertile flesh. Folks didn't go up the mountain unless they were looking to die. Wild animals and slippery slopes. Real dangerous rumors there, too. Talking about the devil's nest at the very top. Not entirely wrong, but very far from the truth. Freddie was obsessed with leaving. He tried twice and had to walk back home with his tail between his legs twice. He'd talked about hiking more than once, but Mandy always shut him down. Everyone did. We all knew not to go up. So why would he? Why would he do something so stupid? He knew better. I let the irony settle before moving. My shoes gave wet squelches every step of the way. Golden leaves from tamaracks, birch trees with eyes that followed each wobble of my form, aspens that trembled before the wind standing rigid and tall. Don't go up the mountain. My dad told me that 4 times in my life, but I believed him from the start. Something dead and empty would crawl into him whenever he talked about the lumber yards he worked at. Don't go up the mountain. Don't! I could turn back and leave Finding Freddie to his folks. But up I went, because I knew I'd be safe. I'm a good person. Everything would be just fine. I wasn't a stranger here. I probably knew the woods better than the Connerys, or the mayor, or even the yard workers. The only person who'd spent more time there than me was my husband. Wait, is she married to Mr. Connery?
Yes.
And he wouldn't hurt me.
I spoiled myself just a little bit ago, but continue.
The mud was too watery, and the one too hard step caused some to splatter over my nylons. My legs had grown larger, but part of me hadn't. Wearing nylons became the grossest part of my second trimester. Tugging that much loose skin into skin-tight garments wasn't fun. Wearing said garments for hours was little less than misery. It made walking with my swollen ankles more than challenging. It wasn't a steep climb this far down, but the roots could send me falling. I just hated the feeling of being wet. The moment I stepped through the tree line, a slow trickle of rain leaked down my collar, making my spine tingle. But nothing hit me. It felt a little like being licked. Oh, monster fucking.
Oh?
That's what I'm thinking. Hopefully
Monster
nothing graphic,
fucking?
because that's not allowed.
Aww.
You know the rules for AnxietyPilled.
There goes my straight 70s porno story.
I tilted my head back and squinted, looking the best I could through Pat's windows. The lights were on, because of course Dally wouldn't listen. The more I looked, the harder it got to see the shape of the diner. Trees weren't meant to grow taller, but up they went. Thicker, too. Silent. The air was devoid of all sound. And they still moved, new eyes spreading open along the birches. I didn't need to watch these tricks of the night. Every mud-soaked waddle brought the thought of retreat. I'd been standing all day, sitting down in my car, cuddling up with a blanket. It sounded like a dream. The forest and rocks that made up the lowest layer of Hell's Tip didn't live up to the name it had. My hand shot under my stomach as I struggled up a small, bumpy path. The crunch of one of my footsteps made me flinch. But it was fine. It was probably just leaves. The problem was how dark it was. I could hardly see the ground in front of me, let alone what was further away. I could hear my breath ringing through the cold air like a gong. Standing in the mud, I turned to get another glimpse of Pat's. I couldn't see it anymore. Nothing beyond the feeling of being watched. I tried stepping around some roots to find a gap in the trees, but nothing. Utter darkness. Mud was leaking through and my socks were turning wet.
Freddie! I'm gonna leave your ass up in here if you don't come out. Freddie! Jesus, Freddie!
Nothing. Did he even understand who Freddie was? Did Freddie see him? The thought of him dying didn't make me too upset. I'm not sure if that makes me a bad person. I didn't like his folks. Mr. James made it clear he didn't want his little 30-year-old working with someone like me. But I couldn't just go without trying. And if my husband had... Freddie wasn't going to answer me. Probably wasn't going to answer anyone anymore. He knew not to go up, so why did he? Was he that desperate to leave? Would the town find his body or me? The mental picture of Dally hunched over the grill with real meat sizzling was enough to make my knees tremble under the weight of hunger. Just a taste would pull me over. Just a taste would send me over the edge. The thought, something wicked. I stomped my foot on the ground and screamed much, much louder.
Ray!
Nothing. No, not nothing. I heard it then. Something heavy and distant stepping over leaves. A faint crunching noise that seeped into my ears. My heart thumped into my chest, accompanying each splinter of roots. The wind was still dead, or just too scared to come out. The sky was still hidden, but I could see little sparks of autumn-colored, leaf-like fireworks bursting into the branches. I wish I had a mirror camera. I'm not pretty in the first place, but I don't want to see them with ketchup stains over my mouth. Spit covered my palms before I scrubbed at my face, pulled fingers through my hair, and brushed the wrinkles from my skirt. For good measure, I scratched at my buck front teeth and the snaggletooth that poked from the bottom. My hands then fell meekly at my sides, not ceasing their shaking. The dragging kept coming, but no breathing came with it. Just the empty movement. It was still dark in front of me. It was normal in front of me. I could hear the trees crying now, cracking like bones to make space. The lights above me, calling me, asking for me, kept coming. Harsher, stranger colors now that had no place in a godly world. Something curled thick around my ankle. He was warm and slow crawling. I didn't move. A small glint of yellow light bloomed from the source behind me. The twirling trunks of the impossibly shaped trees before me were brought to light by his presence. I could see, however far in the distance, something getting dragged away. Something tall and blonde. Oh, we're getting to meet the monster husband! Yes! Man, I love monsters. I love monsters so much.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Smooth bark slid up my skin, starting low at my shin. He didn't hold me rough. He wasn't like Dally. It tickled when he brushed against my knee pit, but my shaking hand stopped him from going any further than my lower thigh. I turned around. I knew more about my husband than anyone else, but he wasn't born to be understood. His legs weren't made for movement. His hands weren't made to hold. Birch eyes covered his dark skin that curled and twisted into knots of wood. His body had strips of flesh, the barest trace of what he came from long rotted. But the only thing he stunk of was soil and rain. Great big horns curled over the lumps of moss and stone that, in that moment, was his body, spanning and moving to sit comfortably in the trees. The golden leaves that shone from him looked like a weeping willow. I tried not to look at the bodies braided there. Some were little more than bones, but there were others perfectly preserved in a state of consumption. He's handsome.
He's handsome. He looks like death incarnate, and your words are, he's handsome.
Yeah, I am blushing and kicking my feet. Yeah. Is it just me or is it hot under this blanket?
I think it's hot underneath that blanket.
It is. I am sweating. I avoided the ones dressed in white entirely. He would change. I don't think he was meant to, more that he was incapable of holding a form. I tried getting him to look more like a man, but he wasn't born to do that. One moment he almost resembled a moose, but the next he seemed an impossibly large feral beast. I could describe him as mostly yellows and greens, but that'd be missing the blue veins that ebbed through him, the red that streaked his hooves, hands, vines. I would have come sooner. Oh wait, shit! Fuck, sorry. I got too happy about Monster.
Oh yeah, you got too happy about the smut. Yeah, whoever writes horror smut deserves to be in jail.
Anyways, the red that streaked his hooves, hands, vines.
I would have come sooner.
Oh no, that's still love it.
Oh, fuck. Are you sure?
Yeah, because she's talking to him.
Okay. I would have come sooner.
The moss-covered stones of his spine cracked to the side.
You don't get to be mad. I told you 100 times to leave them alone. Are you really that hungry?
I could see the bugs that crawled all over him. Small, frail things that didn't know better. I don't think he meant to eat them. A little crushing sound always came off him like a hum as he sucked them through his bark. I don't think he understood eating anything the way we did. The bodies that swung lifelessly in his crown were proof enough.
I'm good. Dally made me dinner, so don't worry about that.
He tried to get me eating proper. Sienna might like the husks of flesh he'd offer, but I couldn't stomach it. He didn't force me. He never asked for anything but my time. The curling root around my leg loosened, first swirling round my hips, then over my shoulder, before circling round my neck.
Why'd you miss me? I saw you yesterday.
The tip of him came across my cheek. I couldn't help but feel loose and putty-like round him. I knew everyone was terrified of what he was, what he ate, what he did. They didn't quite get it. We were all as incomprehensible to him as he was to us. I should have been afraid of him. That'd be the normal thing. He kissed me the best he was able. I let him, despite the earthy taste. I feel like I'm forgetting something. But everything will be fine. Even as my throat closed around him and my chest rose the way it did when I struggled to breathe or even think, I knew everything would be fine. Because I had him. Well, that's the end. I need art of this man starting yesterday. Please, top commission art of the Eldritch Woods husband. Please, please, please. I beg you, I need to see this man.
You need to see the sexy cryptid husband.
Exactly. My husband understands. Man, holy shit, that was...
That was a good one too. All three of these stories were fantastic.
Yeah.
Different themes, different supernatural things, but they're all fantastic. I will say I do want more of Tara and the Soul.
Yeah, I want to see what's going on with that. Like a true witch, sweet, complete. I love it. Tar and the Soul, we need more of. And Hell's Tip, my husband and I, there's really nothing more to say there. That story's also complete. They're just gonna be freaky together, and I love that. I have a crush now.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry. Wow.
Well, now I'm gonna have to tell the Bat Lady that you've replaced her.
I am the Bat Lady.
Mm.
I literally voiced that bitch.
Yeah, well, she's somewhere in Nova Scotia.
But yeah, so I love how it's like, oh yeah, Mr. Connery is like her estranged husband. No.
Nope. I was led astray.
I think he maybe sacrificed her, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like, he sacrificed her, intending her to, like... Because, like, there are other ones dressed in white. They were expecting her to die.
Yep, but instead she fell in love with the giant Eldritch monster.
Yeah, instead she just had so much riz, she lived. And I
love
how she's like, excuse me, mister, behave.
I feel like that's like half of our community. They would just go to get sacrificed, see a giant Eldritch monster, be like, oh, I love you.
Let's make a deal. Man. Yeah, wow. It's great story. Great Great.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing more.
Fantastic.
I have nothing more to say because I'm just. Sorry. Like my face is very much red. Um, but yeah, that was tops. Next time, it will be Man with Fat and Top, reading my story, which I hope you guys
Yep.
like. So that is it for today's episode of the Anxiety Pill podcast. Pillar question of the day is: what is your favorite urban legend? Answer in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check us out on Spotify. Leave us a rating. Your support means the most. Until next time, take your pills and read your thrills. Have a good one.
Bye.